off nowhere without people, women, adults.
But we and we are live. All politics are local. America's number one political hip hop streaming show, and we have a really good, wonderful packed show tonight. We start off with the disciples. We have Reverend Louise Scott-Rountree right here, and then at 7 o'clock we're going to have a 1 hour conversation with the superintendent of Newark Public Schools, Roger León, on the start of the school year. And at 8 o'clock, we're going to have Lawrence Hamm and Tormel Pittman talk to us live from a rally in New Brunswick and which is incredibly important. And then we'll have DJ Rhino and the State of Hip Hop and talking about 24 hours of peace. And on that, the rally that Lawrence Hamm and Tormel Pittman are doing, that is for Deborah Terrell. She is a elderly woman who was murdered by the police in Trenton, and there's a rally that's going on for her there right now. So, welcome to All Politics Are Local. We have a packed show and a serious show, but always fourth Friday we start off with the disciples. So, hey.
That's the you, Rev.
Wait a minute. Hold on. You know what? Listen, let me tell you something. It is exciting to be once again here on the show called The Disciples, where our brother Abdul, our chief host, and the one and only Lady Balena Ali. I'm not quite sure if I've been left to be on this All Politics Are Local number one hip hop. Listen, I don't never finish. I stop right at hip hop news and views, radios, and news that are on. I'm excited about being on where we expand the knowledge of those, increase the awareness of those who come in, tune in. We ask you to text, tag, and tell as All Politics Are On with the disciples. We thank you, Brother Jonathan, Brother Baba. We always have so much to say and talk about, and that was almost not enough. But I tell you what, you got to get it in where you can fit it in for the time that God has let you in. So I'm excited. Jonathan, that was just a nice little spit right there. You ain't said nothing. Nothing. So right now, tonight, as we speak, the family meeting is going to be starting. If it hasn't already, I'm on my way there, so I'll probably be going live from the family meeting tonight to talk to you as I walk in. Then after I give my remarks, so you guys are going to have to carry it a little bit when I walk into the building, and just hold it down as a disciple until this disciple gets back on the line with all of you. I'm excited for one thing, and one thing is for sure, that when we send out messages to our communities regarding what we're doing, such as the family meeting tonight, the mayor's family meeting being hosted at the Priority Restaurant, which will be going from 6 to approximately 9, where we have Patrice and Masani from Source of Knowledge, along with our Honorable Mayor hosting, along with Brother Desire and the community. Many of us have come together to do the family meetings, such as the men's meeting tonight. Normally would have been the men's meeting. We will be resuming the women's meeting in September, but we are excited just about bringing people together for them, as I said, to increase their knowledge, expand their awareness. We have this, what is today? Today is August 22nd, 2025. We are on the air at 6:09 p.m. Looking to discuss some topics. There was a woman named Bernice Bass that used to come on years ago. WNJR, before you were born, I was born. Well, she came on during my lifetime. And she has some family members. Yeah, Bernice Bass. So there was two. There was my cousin Kitty Taylor, my mother's niece, Kitty Taylor, who had an intergenerational program called Seniors in Action. But she would say it's an intergenerational because she wouldn't just have seniors on the program, but it was Seniors in Action to talk about the seniors. So she was the sweetheart of WNJR. The elder, she wasn't an elder when she started, but by the time she finished, she was a senior citizen. But Bernice Bass, honey, was like a Larry Hamm on the radio, okay? Like a Baba Zaid on the radio. Her news and views addressed individuals, people, circumstances, politics, whatever it was, in whatever area you were walking in. She didn't take no tea for the fever, did she, Baba?
She didn't.
That's why they called it news and views. You could have been your view, but if that wasn't the right view, she would surely talk about the news of the view. So, I'm serious. They still have some of her tapes.
Yeah.
Junius Williams. This was supposed to be put in that museum. So I'm hoping that we revisit some of these things that were taking place. It's so important that our history is recorded. That we.
Is she still alive?
No, she's been dead for a minute.
Okay. Yeah,
both of them.
Mother's age. Yeah, she's my mother's age.
Yeah, Kitty passed several years ago. Bernice Bass passed, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to see who passed first. I can't
remember. But I remember she wound up. She finished up doing some radio in DC for WPFW. But she put in she had a long walk.
And Bernice Bass was no. You know who was very who has all the information on a lot of our African American legends. That's Barbara Kukla.
Yeah.
Yes.
She did a spotlight on her.
Yep, Barbara Kukla.
Did a good spotlight on her.
As a matter of fact, we should actually have her on more.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. She's written on Newark.
Yeah, Barbara Kukla, for sure. I had her do. I did a. What do you call it? I did a. Hold on a minute. I did a West Ward historical perspective. I did all 5 wards under the Newark Scots Cultural and Civic Foundation. And I brought on some of the elders that are still around from the West, the South, the Central. I did it all on Zoom because I wanted to highlight this foundation named after my mom. But at the same time, when I did the Central Ward, I brought some folks that was there when it was the 3rd Ward. Because if we don't talk about that history and record that history, like who knows the Central Ward was the 3rd Ward in this generation?
Okay, true. I didn't know that.
You didn't know that the Central Ward was called the 3rd Ward?
I did not.
He's younger than us.
Right. Some people didn't know that Miles Burger opened Zanzibar. Did you know that?
No,
I did not know that either. Yeah. I knew about Zanzibar. I did not know who founded it.
About Miles Burger. So this is what I mean. Like, if nobody talks about it, who would know? One of the hottest clubs. One of the hottest. Listen, this is the Reverend talking. One of the hottest clubs in the city of Newark, New Jersey, and vicinity was in. There was no competition once he wanted to be bigger than the Paradise Garage or the Gallery or the Loft or all of these other highlighted clubs that were in the city. He bought something.
Because Zanzibar was internationally known, and I've read about it in multiple books where they talk about Zanzibar. They talk about the connection between Newark, Chicago, and South Africa in terms of club music and how the sounds. Those were 3 important places, and people would be at those 3 places. They'd be in Newark, South Africa, and Chicago.
That's it. And Newark had a lot of, they had some Club Sensations, Paradiso. There was the nightclubs where Mr. West was also a jazz capital. They said it was a gospel capital. Like, Newark was known for every capital that you want to say about music or genre. Billie Holiday came through Newark. There were so many gospel greats that came through Newark.
What is you're headed to the mayor's meeting tonight? What is that meeting about?
I mean, I had people.
Oh, you're
had
saying?
people come. Oh, I thought you saw Balena. Did Balena Ali get on? No,
No,
she's
not
not.
yet.
But
Not yet.
so it's if nobody tells the history, like I'm blessed because a lot of people came through my mama's house.
Right.
A lot of figures, a lot of
Very
people, and
blessed.
because
And
I
for people who
wasn't.
don't know, who was your mom and what house are we talking about?
We're talking about the Kruger Scott Mansion on Martin Luther King Boulevard, which was known as High Street back in the day, and then back before that day, it was called Millionaires Row.
Okay.
Um, Nothing but doctors, and prior to that, a very prominent, predominantly Jewish neighborhood known for synagogues. There were synagogues all up and down. You have Hopewell that is
Street, I think.
now in Livingston. The synagogue that was B'nai Jeshurun, which was down on Martin Luther King and Muhammad Ali Avenue, is now their congregation now worships, and I know the rabbi in Livingston, Short Hills. A lot of these, I should say, synagogues moved to Short Hills and Livingston. They didn't go nowhere; they just left Newark. The buildings are still there, even where Willing Heart is, which was across from my mother's hotel. My mother had a hotel right across from Wiggins, which is now an empty parking lot. There was right across the street, across Mercer, and there was a synagogue there. Uh, yeah, Martin Luther King High Street was a street. I knew growing up there was at least 6 doctors on that block, one Jewish and about 5 black, 6 black, because there were 2 dentists. Dr. Colston was across the street from the mansion. The Shelton family was on Martin Luther King Boulevard, right next to Wigham's Funeral Home before they built the building across the street, which is now where they are located. Then you had Dr. Hailing and Dr. Holmes, which were gynecologists, and I forgot what the other one was. And then you had Dr. Carr, which was a medical doctor. It's amazing how I can remember all of this, but that was just within a 2-block radius. We're not even talking about the whole. I'm talking between West Kinney and Mercer Street.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a short block. That's a short range. Yeah,
Between Dr. Shelton owned 2 of the buildings, which was a prominent African American dentist. Dr. Carr was directly across the street from the mansion in the pink house with the big C on it. Dr. Panzer, which was a Jewish doctor, was right next to 624. That house is no longer there. Just between West Kinney, Newark has, and then the first the hospital, which is a church's house in there now. The Kinney,
on Kinney
right
Street,
there.
right?
Yes. But there's so much history that people coming through these neighborhoods have no clue. I didn't have a choice but to learn the history because I had to listen to my parents. I didn't do a lot of playing with children as a child. I literally worked, which is why my work ethic is so over the top. Work or sit still and listen to the meetings and the talk. So for some reason, God blessed me with this memory to remember a lot of this stuff. So when I'm talking about it, it's just coming right off the top of my head, because not only did I live hearing it, but it didn't go anywhere for some odd reason. I don't take any medicine for my memory. Yeah, thanks be to God. And
I'm gonna tell you something. I got to tell you this. I just found an online transcribed interview that Bernice Bass did with Malcolm.
Oh, wow.
See there? Yes.
Malcolm had less than 2 months to live when she had this interview. I'm going to share this out on our page.
And also read part of it.
He also came through the mansion and the auditorium.
1959, after his first trip abroad.
Okay.
And he brought in his camera, did a slideshow presentation on the world that the world that he traveled to, because that trip he was to represent the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in what we call in Islam Umrah. That's an unofficial Hajj, the unofficial pilgrimage season, for those who can't go during the Hajj season. He was supposed to go to prepare the way for Elijah Muhammad to make his own pilgrimage. And he stopped in other countries like Sudan. Sudan is very different than the mess that's going through right now, right? And he came back to, what talking about is at the beginning of Mosque 25 was right there in her mother's building, right there. And so that's
So,
what I'm trying to say.
what you don't know
I'm trying to
is
find a
that.
picture of that because it exists.
So what you don't know is that prior to that, there was a period where the nation.
Oh, she just popped out.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's she was on
No,
the
the
road.
history that you're talking about is real interesting. You talked about her name was Bernice
Bass.
Bernice Bass, major DJ, WNJR. You said?
Yeah,
Okay.
she did a little bit in public radio later on.
Okay.
So
You cut out, but I was filling in the blanks for you.
2 years prior, the nation did not have a meeting place.
That's what I was just saying. It was right there in the mob space.
Yep. So my mom, what my mom did was, okay, I gotta find a way to get around these people. What she did was, hold on, I'm just driving to be safe. What she did was I guess somebody from the nation before Mars 25 and Greater Abyssinia. I forgot we were on 15th Avenue, which church it was they went to after they left my mom. But someone spoke to my mother about using her space. And she had a 500-seat auditorium next to the mansion. Of course, it's since been torn down. But that is exactly where the nation came to meet. She did not have a problem with African American men and bow ties. It looked like they were trying to make a difference. The problem is that during that period, a lot of folks didn't even care if black men had on bow ties. They still looked at them as radicals and militant. The nation, that is. It must have been, from what I'm told. But there's a brother named Brother Wadu and brother, what's his name from South Orange Avenue? Brother
Wali
Wadu.
Muslim.
Wali Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
And they are the two that the Brother Wadu is going on. But brother, thanks be to God.
Brother Wali is still here. He's in his 90s.
Brother Wali is still here, and he knows the story. Yeah, he knows the story. So we are so blessed. We are so blessed that I was able to hear that story because I had no clue. I did not know. I did not know.
Yeah, this is actually before both of us were born. Now that's a while back. This is the late 50s we're talking about.
Yes, late 50s, because she bought the house. She went out to the house in 56, got it in 57.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that Malcolm trip was in 59.
So it wasn't long after that, after the trip. I don't know when they got to 15th Avenue. What's his name? Oh gosh, Larry Hazard knows because he was a kid at that point. But I think it was who was telling me when they were a child, they were brought to Akbar. Akbar said when he was a little boy that his mother or someone brought him to the mansion, to the auditorium. And I don't know if that's when Malcolm was there. But listen, guys, I'm going to have you hold it down for a minute because I have to go in and speak into the families meeting. I'm inviting.
And what is the families meeting? Can you tell us what the families meeting is?
The families meeting is the mayor bringing families together. Brother Nuri is here from the nation to be the guest speaker for the families today.
Nice.
And the mayor is going to speak, of course. And where are you guys? I just lost you.
You can also.
We just lost your visual.
Yeah, and if you can, like after you finish speaking, if you want to go live there and just broadcast the speeches, we'll just
okay.
We'll
Let me
do
see.
it live.
Can I do that now? Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on, Bishop.
And in the meantime,
I'm gonna have to Bishop Jones.
I'll turn it for sound for a second. But in the meantime, you're talking about the interview that you found with Bernice Johnson, DJ, and Malcolm X. You just found it randomly online. That's nice.
Yeah. I was just looking back on her because I was trying to pick up the data for transition and how long she was with PFW in DC because I believe she ended her career there. Right? I can remember her on the air, and that's been at least almost 25 years. It's been a minute. Like I said, I didn't realize it. She's as old as my mother. She's 100 years old, and
Okay.
she was still here. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Right. Well, we're going to when she goes live, we're gonna have her live from the event.
Now, just a little background too on the special guest. His name is Nuri Muhammad. Nuri Muhammad is one of the popular national ministers for the Nation of Islam. He's based in Indiana. Did some good work in some community development for the nation in Indiana in terms of actually, developing some property holdings out there, from what I understand, and did very well about it. So he's one of the bright, next line or new generation of ministerial leaders that they have been pushing out for the last few years. So, and he's very, very, very well liked. Little brother, but he's dynamite, right?
Right.
He's dynamite, and that's probably why we don't have Minister Abdul Haqq, because he's probably right there with covering down on a national official. That's what Nuri would be considered, a national official for the Nation of Islam.
Right. Absolutely.
And I have to shout out Patrice and Masani. I'll be with them tomorrow. We have a book gathering tomorrow at the store, but they have been getting some very good and very well-deserved attention recently. There was a national Black Book Buyers Conference that was hosted in New York, and they were the main event. They did several presentations, and all of these book buyers and bookstore owners from all over the country were at the store. I guess this was last Friday, right? And they had a few of us come and help greet them, and we had a real good time with those folks. Folks from far away as Utah and Seattle and Houston and Boston and Miami. They're from all over. It was a really good time. Of course, they've been featured in the New York Times and other spaces where good businesses deserve some attention. So they've been getting some good attention, and they deserve all the support that they can get. And they're not, kind of folks that do a lot of presentations in the kind of settings the way the mayor does, but they earn the right to be in that space with them. They very much. Right. So right, absolutely, that's going to be a powerful gathering for everybody that's there.
No, absolutely. So, question: You had the speech by Malcolm X.
There was the property management committee.
Posted. I can
break the city and do business with the city.
And I'm periodically checking back in on Scott-Rountree just to see where they are and if she is starting to speak yet.
As a man being from the city.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, we're gonna get a lot there. I'm gonna try and squeeze this in. And I was having some computer issues. Like I'm dealing with two computers that have been reconfigured, so I'm having some issues with them. I'll put it in the chat, so it can go up later on.
Those are amazing, like historical documents that are there.
Indeed,
that people can see, especially given the rootedness in Newark history.
Mm-hmm. Indeed,
so that's excellent. So, Zaid, there are a lot of things going on that I believe you are working on as well. I know that later tonight we're going to be talking about what happened in Trenton, right? And we're going to be spending some time on that at 8:00. There are some other things going on that you're also working on.
Always working on stuff.
I know.
I was trying to get somebody on to also join us if it was possible, to give us a good report on what's happening in DC.
Okay.
I think I'll be able to get somebody on next week for sure. But there's this, there is Trump being the bully that he is politically. He wants to attack other cities. It's going to be more difficult in other cities than what he's facing in DC, and he's facing very serious resistance in DC. Right? Social justice forces are mobilized. And regular folks who ain't mobilized and organized, they're gonna throw rocks. It's not gonna be a cakewalk.
So is this again? A lot of times you just don't hear or see about things that are going on there. Like you'll see random things online. You don't know if you can believe it or not. What are some of the things that you hear is going on down there?
That there's resistance. There's real resistance. There's real outrage. There's not at all any desire or welcoming of this incursion, this imposition that this guy is doing for all of
I'm standing in the back in the hills of my brother, late street doctor, and you have never left us alone.
That's right.
Before you became the man. So I have to give honor to him, and I will ask that you will all just give another clap for him.
All right, I think she's getting ready to set it.
What you don't right now, what he has going on very strong. First, he had already opened up the shining horizon.
Okay, I think she's getting ready to. She's just setting it up.
Domestic violence.
So you were saying what before?
No, I mean there is real resistance, and some of that is well organized resistance. The really incredible thing, in addition to this imposition of force, to say there's nothing legally even to bar Trump from doing that because DC is not a state.
Right.
In real terms, DC is a colony.
Right.
In very real terms, you can make a case for DC being a colony the way that the majority of that population has been historically treated and is now being treated by the president.
Which is why they fought for home rule.
Exactly right, right? So, and of course, any formation like a DC or Puerto Rico or like that is not going to be given statehood unless it is majority white.
Absolutely, right.
Right, and that's been an unspoken thing that has always been the case with American state expansionism.
Oh, hold on, I think. Hello?
We're muted now.
Oh, no, you're not muted right now. Wait. You are okay. So they. I was trying to unmute them.
Yeah, she was trying to introduce somebody. I couldn't quite make out who it was. But yeah, folks are resistant in DC. They're going to have a serious. They want to go into Chicago. They're going to have a serious time in Chicago. I'm actually very concerned about how they could look in Newark. Newark is a sanctuary city. We got a congresswoman who's about to go on trial for some bogus charges. Right? They've already arrested the mayor once. Right? I wonder what kind of protests our folks will muster, because a lot of folks are just, quite frankly, in many places afraid. Trenton. We need to appreciate what's happening in Trenton, because there's been a big incursion of an expanded ICE presence in Trenton. Not troops so much, but an expanded ICE presence, and there has been resistance. And I want to salute elder stateswoman Bonnie Coleman Watson. She was right there on the street with her people condemning that incursion. So there is organized resistance that is indeed happening in these places where he's trying to do that. But DC is vulnerable legally because they don't have a legal, way to really check him. And they're saying it's going to be like 30 to 90 days, but who knows? They can make that indefinite, definite, because really what it looks like is they're trying to
do it indefinitely, and they can escalate it, because if they did it under false pretenses, then they can do it indefinitely. And then yes, they can absolutely escalate.
Yeah, and the danger, of course, is them going into martial law.
Right.
Right. That's the real danger, because then the few liberties that folks still have can be suspended, and that could get really wild. That could get really wild. So we are in incredible times. Resistance matters. There needs to be cracks in the armor of the degree of unity that exists within that MAGA base. There's this story today that broke out about a raid on the former national security Bolton because Bolton was critical of Trump.
Right, exactly.
So we need, Kwame Ture used to say, we want to force contradictions in their ranks.
Right. Like Larry Hamm spoke to my debate team this week. And we, on Wednesday, he said something really interesting. Like during the summer, we always run these institutes. And we had him speak and just talk and answer questions. And he brought up an issue of interest convergence. He said that things get done not because that there's that Black people are often in coalitions with others, but those coalitions aren't based on morality. They're based on interest convergence for a limited amount of time in a limited number of things. So if interests converge, then things can happen. And I think that's what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
It is not about massive interest cooperation, but in a narrow sense of interest conversion, then certain things become possible to happen. However, we thought that might be an interest convergence happening in the last election when you had a lot of established Republicans coming out against the current president, and it made no difference. And I think the same thing you'll see, which is why he's going after Bolton now, and he'll probably go after Liz Cheney, and he'll probably go after other white conservatives or other conservatives who opposed him in the Republican Party. So I think that, yes, there probably is, there have been divisions among the ranks, but those people were never really in his rank, right? Or at least not in his rank after 2021, right? And Bolton is one of the people. Yeah, he wrote a book against him.
He did. But yeah, well, we're hoping that these, there's also been a push for some broad mass actions, like the July 17th mass action we did to mark John Lewis's transition, like the No King's Day, right?
Right.
Those things need to continue and be sustained, right, all over the country, in a very decentralized way, and hopefully that are well targeted to continue the expanding and the mobilizing of the base of opposition to this guy as we get ready for the congressional elections.
And maintain your respect and your power.
Hey,
so
man, how are you?
Cost $1 million.
He's there.
He could have had sponsors who would change the message and control the narrative.
Are you gonna?
Instead, he got himself to the event.
Are you going live?
With $1 million of us there, he raised $1 million. He had to put his hand up to stop the money from flowing, and that was the first time that I saw Black power executed with financial capability.
Can you see the? Can you see the? Okay. Can you let us see what's going on and broadcast from there? All right, but you got to turn your sound on, Mr. Riley.
The announcement of the Alpha Phi Alpha Community Center is of great pride because we funded it ourselves. $500,000 was raised by the office.
Mayor's Hamm meeting.
And said, well, we can't sustain the property if we have that debt. And oftentimes we let fear stop us from a very legacy and destination for what God has intended for us. But we have to walk through all of the concern. We have to be able to walk through the fire and brimstone and recognize that as long as we're with him and we're with his power, he's not going to lead us to failure. So with $2.2 million of debt, I started to organize myself to say I may have to cover this expense until help comes, and we're going to do that, no problem. And then I just got worried that $2.2 million worth of debt is about to be turned into a grant, which means we'll have a $3 million asset with no debt on it. So as we start to support the community, as we start to put our own businesses in there, actually turn the dollar over within our own infrastructure, we can do it driving financial wealth. So for me, as one of the lead investors in that, and I do it with nonprofit dollars and tax write-offs, et cetera, my whole contingency is I want to be able to have an office in that location so that what I've learned and experienced in terms of financial wealth and power which power has to be defined between the balance of physical, mental, spiritual, financial, health. That's power. When all of that is in balance, that's what we'll be talking about when we do Excelsior Solutions in the location and building that we will own for the people and by the people. Thank you so much for your time.
How's everyone doing? Doing all right? Good. Have we been fast so far throughout the program? That's good to hear. At this time, we're going to move on. We're going to bring on our councilwoman at large, Councilwoman Rountree, and she's going to share a few words.
That's just time, bring her on.
So, Reverend Councilman are trying to keep it up. And kind of cool because
Thank you, Brother Desire. Give him a hand, please. Come on, give this young man a hand. He is
a co-host of her own with the show with the disciples.
Y'all not doing good for the young man. Assalamu alaikum to my brothers and sisters in the faith. Praise the Lord, to Bishop and all the others. Yeah, y'all bring this energy up because these young men and these young women are coming before you to talk about what life really means. Life means, we're talking about this being the family meeting. The mayor's been very consistent with the men. The women have been very consistent with standing behind the men. So we're not going to leave the sisters out. Sisters, make some noise in the room. Yeah, we come down, we hold the line. I give honor not just to the wonderful, most greatest mayor that I've ever known, served for, known about 6, but I truly give honor to God for this man who leads our city, and that is the Honorable Mayor Raj J. Rhino. I cannot give honor to him without giving honor to his leading lady, the one who stands beside him, the one who stands behind him, the one who's going to stand in your face if you mess with him. And that's the leading lady of this city, Linda Baraka. Can you please give me? As I stand here today, I normally don't need a script. And when you tell the truth, you don't need one. But to be a family, because this is the family, the men are meeting every Friday, the women, Sister Dawn and I spoke the other day. We were leading the D3 movement with our first lady, Linda Baraka, to not just show you what financial literacy is, because we can tell you what it means and, what to be literate about your finances is, but then Brother Nuri, what do you do with it once you become literate about it? So the 8 weeks that we did that to 2 boards, we're going to bring that back, but we're coming back to the once a month meetings. Sister Dawn and I are going to lay out the platform. So ladies, come on, y'all make some noise for consistency because we're coming back. Family. Let me tell y'all something. I just looked up real quick so the man doesn't have to come and pull my coat or act like I'm at the Apollo and put a thing around my neck. Y'all not saying nothing because he'll do like this. All right, Rountree, bring it in, land the plane. He really will, definitely. He will. But to be a family means to be a part of a group. Normally it's chronologically connected, mothers and fathers making babies and all of that. But to be a family means to be a part of a group, often defined by love, support, and a shared commitment, who may or may not be related by blood, marriage, or adoption. While traditional definitions focus on biological ties and legal relationships, the modern understanding is what you see in this room. The modern understanding is seeing all these brothers that are trying to do better, all the sisters that are trying to do better. The truth of the matter is, while we're trying to do better, we know that we should do better. And when we sit in rooms and never rockets created for us to buy land instead of talking about the man who bought the land while you was gambling in front of it when you could have bought it yourself with the money you was winning from gambling, but you didn't do it. So you complain about the man who came into the neighborhood, bought the land, and moved you to the next house when you could have bought the land yourself with that money you was, you know what I'm talking about. So the truth is, we have to do better, be better, take advantage of the opportunities because these opportunities might not come again. We let opportunities knock at the door. We stand there. People come to City Hall, they're Moroccan, they say, I'm looking for a job. They see you walking down the street and say, I'm looking for a job. I said, well, you look everywhere. Well, where's everywhere? Because it's not going to walk into everywhere. You really got to look. You got to really be open to opportunities that God has provided for you. Sisters been doing it for themselves. That's what Aretha Franklin said. And the truth of the matter is, God has provided for us. The Bible declares the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, and all they that dwell therein. So the truth is, we all in this. The land is already ours on loan. The truth is, we just let everybody take it from us from under our feet, including me. I'm not going to say anything that I'm a millionaire. That was my mama. I just got the knowledge to become one. And if I'm not one, it's not because I didn't know how to become one. It's because I just didn't do it. So God bless all of you. And Bobby, I'm supposed to be on all politics right now. I'm on the air right now. Come on, let's give it up for family. The family meeting. Give it up and make some noise in this place for the families that have come together. They're going to leave here. Take this knowledge for Brother Murray, Sister Masadi, Sister Patrice, and all that dwells in this house. Now the next wish you hear is not for me to introduce, but I can't wait. Come on, Brother Desire.
Here, Councilman, another round of applause. At this time, we're going to bring on our brother, our mayor, let's give my brother mayor, Rajan Rocca, a huge round of applause. Hold the line! Hold the line! You can be very loud. Let's give our brother. Please now, hold the line. Hold the line. I gotta say, hold the line. Hold the line. I want to thank everybody for coming out, for being here. For sure, I'm not going to be long. I do want to thank the brothers who continuously come out and the consistency that they have, because consistency is important. Our problem is we like celebrity and bling. That's what we like. And so when that's not present, we don't have the wherewithal and the strength to keep showing back up. Right? That's why we let our communities continue to look the way they look and blame everybody else while we sit in the house. And then when we make a little money, what we do is move out as opposed to build it up. Because we don't see anything when we see the community that we're in, because we don't see anything when we see ourselves. And if we saw something when we saw the community, because you can't build nothing that you can't see. It's like you can't teach anybody who you don't love, right? Because if you can't see them in a better place than they are now, then you can't take them there. So obviously, you can't build a community that you think is trash. All your life, you're waiting to get out of the community because it's trash. And other people are waiting for you to get out of it too, so they can come in. And then when they come in, while you're here, because you're taking too long, you get angry and call it gentrification. This is what's happening. This is exactly what's happening. And so we have a men's meeting once a month, thanks to Brother Josiah, who organizes it for us all the time. And I want to thank Brother Abby for being our best ambassador. You know, when he comes out, he speaks about this everywhere he goes. And you know, when I first went into his store, it was in Irvington, and he was renting it. Right, in Irvington. Now his store is in Newark, and he owns it. Not only did he own the store, he owned the units of housing on top of the store. So that's just that's a physical manifestation of change that he made very quickly. And that change happened because he had a mental change. And the mental change caused him to create a physical change, right? And that's what happens. You have to see it first, and once you see it, you make it happen. That's why we have the meetings. And I tell people who come in the meetings to complain, and I say there's other meetings for you. I'm telling you, you can't complain. This is just not the meeting for that. We have council meetings, we have other meetings, we have a bunch of meetings you can go to and lay down all your issues for everybody. But this is the building meeting. You have to come to add on. If you can't add on, then your presence here is not beneficial to the people here. Everybody who came here wants to build something. They're not looking for a job. They came to make one. That's what the people in that room is for. They came to make a job. They came to build something for themselves. And to understand, like Brother Abby said, that they're here for legacy. Because they're thinking about their children and their children's children. Because I said in the men's meeting that the first unit of business is family. That people started family before we got misconstrued about what it was for business and lineage.
to keep their lineage alive and their business alive. And usually the business had to do with their tribe or their unit, right? To keep it going. We watch a lot of movies and TV, and we think it's the Notebook that you're looking for, right? We think it's those romantic novels, and all that is cool, but at the end of the day, your relationship with your family, your wife, and your children is also about business. If you can't grow, and it doesn't even have to be like a store or physical business, but it's the business of family. Business is a science, and so when you get together with people, right, that's why folks had arranged marriages before, right? Because they were trying to unite families to strengthen themselves. That's what they were doing, to strengthen themselves. Because they knew at some point, you're going to get old. You ain't going to look the same way you looked when I met you 30, 40 years ago. And at the end of the day, we have to have something deeper in our relationship other than just the way you look. There has to be something deeper in our relationship just in how you smile or how you talk. There has to be something deeper in how we connect than just the small, superficial things that are going to disappear as time goes on. There are some things that are deeper that bring us together. And we have to unite around those things to help us build. And because we haven't done that, we haven't been able to pass that down to our children the right way. We have not been able to raise them in the way they should be raised because we're not getting together around business. And so our children are here looking for help, looking for things to do, and they can't find it. And we blame everybody for those things that are going on. So what do we have? We have a 12-year-old who stabs a 14-year-old. Kids who are arguing with their girlfriend with a gun in their hand and shoot their girlfriend by mistake. A 14-year-old shoots a 16-year-old. This is madness. And then everybody is upset. They don't know what to do, so you know who they blame? The mayor. The mayor is responsible for the 14-year-old who shot a 16-year-old in the household that I'm not a part of. But at the end of the day, we collectively in the city, collectively, when we take responsibility for each other and for each other's neighbors and for each other's families and for the blocks that we're on, then we have a deeper understanding and connection in terms of how we fix the problems that we have in our city. So many of us are not here to fix these problems because they're tough. These problems are tough problems. They're generational problems. They didn't happen with the mother you see now and the kids you see now. These happened 3 generations ago, 4 generations ago, 5 generations ago. These problems began, right? And to solve these problems are tough. I'm saying they're breaking generational curses. I don't really understand what that means, but it becomes a popular thing that people are saying on the internet. I'm breaking generational curses. What it means is that you are trying to stop a cycle that has been happening in your family and life for years and years and years and years and years. And you think you can just stop that by showing up to a meeting or saying something on the internet. No, you're going to have to build and do something completely different than what's happening now. And at the end of the day, you know, we feel like we get benefit in tearing each other down. We could disagree without killing each other. Then we get angry when the kids pull out guns and shoot each other, but they watch us on internet and TV rip each other apart through words and deeds and everything else. People we know for years, we tear them down and tear them apart about something small that we won't even remember 20 years. We just tear them up, right? Because we disagree. And we haven't figured out how to disagree without killing each other. And we want to hurt each other because we don't like each other. And we don't like each other because we don't like ourselves. The first thing I tell these guys, you know why it's difficult in the men's meeting for us to do business? Because we don't trust each other. That's why we need to have a men's meeting. We have a men's meeting because we don't trust each other. We don't trust each other because we don't trust ourselves. We can't do business with our brother because we don't like our brother, because we don't trust our brother because he's a thief and a crook. That's what we think in our head. He's going to rob us. He's going to do us dirty. He got something conniving and sneaky going on. That's what we believe about each other. So we can't do business. And I tell people in the meeting, don't come to me after the meeting. Go see your brother. Because the people in the meeting that can help you the most are sitting next to you. You coming up to me because I got a title. Only thing I can do is open a few doors for you. But the people that can help balance and give you the foundation you need are sitting next to you. They got businesses. They They got money. They got opportunity. They have things, but you're afraid to talk to them. You're afraid to talk to them because you feel like they're going to do you wrong. And the men's meeting is important so we can learn to trust each other. That's a fundamental thing we do. We try to do in the men's meeting. Figure out how to trust each other, how to love each other, how to figure out that not just the square footage of the planet, spread out everything that belongs to us, but also realize that we are each other's keeper. That's important for us. That's the first step. You know why? Because these people have destroyed our relationships. And we can't have a family meeting, folks, until we have a men's meeting. And that's why we have a men's meeting. People always ask about we need a men's meeting. Well, we need a men's meeting so we can have a family meeting. Because how can you have a family when we can't be present? We can't be present because we can't love ourselves. How are we going to love you, man, if we can't love ourselves? How I love the babies that I produce and I don't love myself? Well, they are a procreation of me. Those are who I am. If I don't like me, how I like them. That's really what it is. So really, we're trying to love ourselves so we can build a nation in this city. Everything that happened in this community, we're responsible for. I tell them this, everything that goes on in this community, in this town, belongs to you. That's the first step to start building it. This is your stuff. I used to tell them, go to the class at Essex County and go sit in the class for free. Go in there, I bet you they don't throw you out. Go sit in the back and take notes and do what you can until they start asking. One brother came to me and said, I've been here so long, I'm enrolled. That's what he told me. Brother Mayor, I did exactly what you said. Nobody told me to leave. I sat in that class so many times. I just went to the bursar and did what I had to do. Now I'm a student at Essex County College. Let's go in there. You know, in certain places we don't want to go because we feel like people always tell me, oh, it's not for me. They didn't build this for me. This is for somebody else. This is dangerous thinking. People who come to you and tell you, oh, they didn't build this for you. All of this is yours. If the planet belongs to you, everything that was built on it belongs to you as well. This city is yours. You need to go and act like the city is yours. Stop waiting for somebody to give you permission to do the things that you should do. You should be doing it anyway. And that's why the brothers are doing what they're doing, because they feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. If I'm not doing this, then I'm not fulfilling my legacy. And that's important. So I'm happy everybody has come to this family meeting. We need to have them some more. And all of the brothers that are in here that I have never seen at the men's meeting, I would love to see you come to the men's meeting. I'd love to see you come regularly at those men's meetings. Regularly, right? Because we need to see something before we create something, right? Because now people are interested in developing in Newark, because other people are developing in Newark, but you've been here all your life. What are you waiting for? When the opportunity is there, what are you waiting for? Come in there and do it. Oh, they giving me the runaround. Yeah. Some people are paid to give you the runaround. That's their job, give you the runaround. Discourage you, to make you forget what you have in your mind. Only your persistence is going to fight through that, right? You say hold the line. Hold the line to us means that we don't falter, we don't waver, we don't give up the plan. The only reason you hold the line is because you're at war. If there was no war, then you don't need to hold the line. We at war, so we have to hold the line, and the enemy is advancing towards us. So the weakest link is going to make us all fall. So we tell each other, hold the line, don't falter, don't waver, don't take no wooden nickels, don't listen to the lies and the rumors and the foolishness. Do what you're supposed to do. Stay there. If they tell you you can't come to the thing today, or this ain't yours, come back tomorrow. Come to the office day after day after day after day until they finally open the door for you. Don't say, oh, they're giving me the runaround. They turn me Then you have generations before you, and you worried about somebody telling you can't come into a room to sign a paper. Then you sit out there every day until they get so tired that they hand you the paper and they wouldn't let you in the door to sign just to keep you away from the door. That's what you're supposed to do. And I told the guys when they see me talking to people on the street, they're looking for it, you walk by and say, hold the line. So when I say hold the line, so the next time they see you, oh, they know the mayor, right? Because I want you to understand, hold the line means you have privilege. Yes. Your relationship with us means you have, if you're in the men's meeting, you have privilege. As a brother said, I'm glad to be in the brotherhood. You have privilege. If you say hold the line, it means you have privilege. If you see me on the street and you say hold the line, and people, and I'm going to respond back no matter where I am. If I'm on the stage, if I'm at the state of the city, and I'm giving a speech, and somebody yell hold the line, I'm going to say hold the line. Why? Because I want other people in the audience and everyone else to know that we have a relationship. And a relationship is the power of that. That we have a relationship. So when they walk by, they think they money getting a relationship, they get to come in the meeting and do all this. But the brother can say hold the line, I'm going to stop and say hold the line, brother. Hold the line. That's why we say that. So that we know we're related to one another. We're related. We're related. So I don't want the sisters to get upset that we having a men's meeting. There's a couple of people I come across that get upset. I know the sisters get ready to start their women's meeting. God bless you.
We're going to cut away from the mayor, and we have the superintendent of Newark Public Schools that is about to come on for an extensive interview on the first, for about the first day of school. So we're just waiting for the, while the superintendent comes in, we'll go back to the mayor, and when the superintendent chimes in, we'll be right in.
Sometimes if they can be there, they need to be there over and over and over. Those things should be crowded. We do have a men's breakfast where 2,000 or so men show up. It is incredible. Last breakfast we had, brothers got on the bus from Trenton and took the bus all the way up, 50 strong, and came to our men's meeting. Why? Because we need to have it in every city in New Jersey. I need you to come to the men's meeting. If I'm not there, because I'm not there all the time, y'all, so don't come there to see me. Sometimes I don't come there on purpose. Don't come there to see me. Josiah runs the men's meetings, and he does a damn good job at it. You go out there and I wanted to catch you at the men's meeting, but you wasn't there. Good. I want you to go to the men's meeting so you can meet the brothers, not me. You can get an appointment to meet me. You can see me. I know a bunch of you guys have got a public schedule. You go to the men's meeting, you can see other men that you may not meet ever again unless they're in that room. And that might change your life. So thank y'all for being a part of this family meeting. You know, I started all my life, children of my own little kids. And with the best thing that made me understand how important this was, what we're doing before I sit down, you know, I was running for governor, you know, and a lot of people thought that we was going to get crushed. But God is the best of plans. We did a lot better than most people even anticipated or thought would happen. We rocked the road. But I'm mentioning that because my son, Jewel Yamachang, put on his suit every morning without me telling him to. He used to wear his suit. He'd come in the closet and say, "Daddy, I want to wear the blue suit today. I want to, what suit you wearing? I want to wear this suit," and he would put it on and come downstairs and put on his hat that said Radical Rocker for Governor, or whatever hat is similar to that, and go to school like that regularly. He the only kid in the class, 4 and 5 years old, with a suit on and a hat. Because if our children have to believe in their heart and mind that we could do anything that we say we want to do, that power is in their reach, in their hand, and to realize that my son knows that his father ran for governor. And So he will never in his mind believe that it's unattainable for him.
That's right.
That God made that available for him too, right? There's a lot more than that. That's why it's important for us, even if we think we're going to fail, to go after our dreams, right?
All right.
All right, we hear you.
That was crazy. Is it charging? Hey.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, it was crazy trying to get on.
Well, that tends to happen. We left the family meeting. Ed Riley is there, and so is Louise, Councilwoman Louise Scott-Rountree. She actually spoke there as well. You know, that last hour was the Disciples. That is a segment that is co-hosted with Louise Scott-Rountree as well as Haqq Muhammad and Balena Ali, and they are at the mayor's family meeting right now. So we have just finished that segment. If it's still going, we will come back after the interview. But we are honored here to have, as we do, and as we're really honored to have every single beginning of the school year, the superintendent of Newark Public Schools, Roger León. And just for full disclosure, I am a employee of the Newark Public Schools. I'm actually in a Newark Public School right now. And Roger and I have known each other since we were 14 years old. We were both on the debate team together quite a long time ago. So welcome there. So that's just for full disclosure. And of course, we have Zayed Muhammad, who is also here. So welcome to All Politics Are Local. You know, every time, I think I said this to you earlier, every time that I do this interview, I look at what's been written about Newark Public Schools, what's in the news right now, and I look at the controversies that are there. There are always a series of controversies. But this one is a little more like, you know, when I did my little scroll for news, I found some stuff that was actually good news that we'll start off with. And because I don't think people recognize its significance. Newark was deemed a high-performing district by the State Board of Education in the CUSAC scores. And for people who don't know, the CUSAC scores, the ratings that were given to Newark Public Schools for years have been very negative, right? So negative that the Newark Public School Board was taken over, and the basis of takeover was those CUSAC scores. The basis for continued takeover was those CUSAC scores. And to my mind, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first time since those scores were developed, I believe in the late 80s, that Newark was deemed a high-performing district. And can you tell me about that? Can you tell me, like, what happened? Newark is a high-performing district. That seems like it's huge news. Can you explain to me what that means?
Sure. Absolutely. Thank you, obviously, for inviting me, as you always do right before the start of the school year. I really appreciate that. I think I saw a beard on you, and so I've never seen that before. So on the sun side, to be quite blunt about it. So, but I appreciate you and Brother Zaid immensely for important things.
You're going in and out.
One of the things that
Zaid, is
he
clear? Is it on my end or his end? He's good. So that is, we can't hear you.
You're having trouble, Mr. Superintendent.
Okay, so the superintendent is having trouble with sound. All right, because you're going in and out. We can hear you now.
Okay, so I'll try to get closer to the device. So it's important that everyone actually knows some of the information, and you kind of got some of it wrong. So the state took over the district in the mid-90s. There was no CUSAC. The late Senator Ron Rice, his leadership is what created CUSAC so that the districts that were taken over by the state could eventually be returned back to local control. So, so CUSAC in around 2007, the district had actually passed all of the five indicators: personnel, finance, operations, governance, and instruction and program. And in change of leadership in Trenton resulted in a review of all of those scores. And that's what resulted in the continuation of state operation for a good 15, a good 13 years more.
Okay. So
That is a process that enables every district in New Jersey to be rated under the same criteria. Senator Rice asked me to testify at a hearing way before his passing about the fairness of this test, because he learned that INP actually was the hardest criteria, not because teaching and learning is difficult, but because of the way the score system actually existed. So, Newark Public Schools, to return to local control, completed a waiver. So did the other districts that, in fact, enabled us to pass instruction and program. When this occurred again, the district received 100% on all three of the categories: operations, finance, and governance. Uh, we received 97% in personnel, and then obviously, because instruction and program was the one that was impossible, in fact, to meet, we had to go under a review for 3 years. So the fact that the state of New Jersey, based on the student achievement data of 23, 24, that enabled us to actually meet the 80% instruction and program. So the other four
okay, so
categories, we were already
you
above.
came you actually you came out on the last thing that you said. So the last thing you said we weren't able to hear about the 80%. And can you explain that? You said like there was one area, and that was, I think, in an instruction that was the hardest criteria to meet. Can you just explain that?
Yeah. So the way that the point system occurs for instruction and program, that everyone in the state knows that a large school district like New Jersey, as well as other school districts throughout the state, is near impossible to get to that 80%. So the fact that we were able to do that upon the review that occurred this last year is absolutely incredible, designating the Newark Public Schools as a high performing district. So we're
Now,
extremely.
Now I want to slow down on that part, right? You said that the standard of getting 80% was nearly impossible. And the reason why I'm slowing this down is because it's not something that's been broadly covered. And I think it seems like a big deal because I've been hearing about CUSAC scores since for darn near 20 years, right? It's been a while, right? We've been hearing about reviews of them for a long time. And getting 80% in instruction and being designated high performing, I want people to understand what that means, and so that they can appreciate it.
Yeah.
So the 80%
is the trigger that is required to be high performing. You have to meet 80% or more in all five categories. So we had already met the 80% requirement in four of the categories. Three of them we had 100, and one we had 97. Instruction and program, we did not meet 80% until the review of the 23-24 school year, which resulted in the designation that the New Jersey Department of Education did on August 6th, just a couple of weeks ago. So the other four categories, we already met them, so they weren't under review. Once we met instruction and program, that gave us all five, which gives us the designation of high performing.
Now, what does it mean to meet it in instruction and programming? What does instruction and programming mean?
Instruction and program arguably is what it is all about, which is teaching and learning. But it's not just about achievement on a test. It's achievement on the test as it relates to English language arts and mathematics. It's also how students grow. It's also about the graduation rate. We have this year, next week, I will actually make it. Well, it was made official last night, but when we have conversation with staff, we have a graduation rate of 90%. Never in the history of the school district have we ever met that criteria. Our chronic absenteeism rate, that's the number of students that are absent 18 or more days during the course of the year, based on a definition established by the state of New Jersey, that is at 10.4%. That's the lowest that it has ever been. Our average daily attendance is above 95%, which is incredible, but the chronic absenteeism rate is way below the state average. So the fact that we were able to be below the state average is what's helping the state's average of chronic absenteeism to actually be lower. Because we're New Jersey's largest school district, the fact that we have more students, if in fact we have a higher chronic absenteeism rate, that will increase the average chronic absenteeism rate for the state. So when a lot of people talk about, oh, the state of New Jersey is doing great, yeah, the reason why they can say that with their head up high is because Newark is doing the same.
You
Okay,
just
so
got a shout out too from our great friend Baruti Kafele's 90%. This is phenomenal. Congratulations. Appreciate
okay,
the
so
shout out.
Our good brother, Principal Caffelli, for everything that makes him exist. We appreciate you, sir. So yeah, this is incredible. Those two factors are what are utilized as it relates to instruction and program scores. So I want to be clear though, Jonathan, if I can, and that is that no one on the public schools and are like, oh, okay, we're good, done. We are far from good. We are far from done. But make no mistakes about it. We are a high performing district. We meet the state's definition of that criteria, which makes all other districts in New Jersey that are high performing comparable to the work that we are doing in Newark Public Schools. And that is actually good for New Jersey.
I think that there's some things that, and it's interesting because there's some things you actually never hear unless I'm interviewing you, right? Like the 90% graduation rate. I don't read that in a lot of the educational media, or media that covers education. The lower than the state average and absenteeism rate, so low that it actually brings the state average down. Do not hear about that in other media. And when I was struck by when I saw the CUSAC stores, I knew that was important. I knew that was like historic. And Newark being labeled as a high performing district, I knew was significant. I was trying to figure out how other media outlets would cover it. And some did not cover it at all. And the ones who did very much underplayed it. They did not talk about things in detail.
I just want to challenge one thing.
I'm gonna let me just can I just jump in for a second because I'm looking at the Chalkbeat article, right? And that has a downplaying vibe. And the picture is, I mean, even down the title in the picture, you wouldn't get any of the kind of enthusiasm or the impact of the scores that we're just talking about, right? So I want to just add to that point. And we sometimes we got to blow our own horn. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, you make a good point, Brother Zaid. But I want to just challenge. I know that Jonathan mentioned this a little while ago, and I did write it down. You wrote a series of controversies. No, that's not how I see it. I see people who try to stop by in Newark. Some try to make a name for themselves. They don't do a good job of that. That's why they leave. And then others actually create a controversy or create or suggest that there is one. There isn't one. There isn't one. So the idea that people are not talking about this is because it's not in their interest or not in the interest of the people who fund them.
Mm.
The whole idea of why I'm on here with you all and on major media all across the country is because those people are actually challenging the organization, as well as understanding that there are incredible celebrations of it. So, you know, what their agenda is not of a concern of mine. We're gonna keep on moving, which is the theme of this year. We keep on moving and we don't stop.
Superintendent León,
Yes, my love.
I
I'm
thought you
happy
said
to
Friday
see
night.
you. I know I asked I'm sure I asked my question at the during graduation if you were on at the end of the school year, but it's my favorite question to ask. How many students graduated with a high school with associate's degree? I did read an article that talked about students who want to go on to have careers as teachers if they successfully completed a program in the school, that they would have a guaranteed career waiting for them once they finish college. How many students participated and how many students will be slated to come back to be Newark school teachers? And how many other school districts do that type of program where they have a guaranteed job if they can do the requirements and have a career waiting for them upon graduation from college?
I know that the first question was about the associate's degree. Can you just remind me what the second question was?
The associate's degree, the guaranteed teaching career, if you complete the program, how many students participated and how many students will be coming back as teachers? And then I wanted to follow up with another question.
So one of the things that we offer are dual enrollment courses. So these are college classes while the students are actually in high school. So we have 184 students that actually graduated with associate degrees. That means that they have already finished 2 years of college while they were 4 years in high school.
184?
Yes, that means, as you all very well know, they only have to finish 2 more years of college. So to get a bachelor's degree, which means those students will have a college degree by the time most of them hit 20 years old. This is unheard of, at least in our city. Have we had students that have done this before? Yeah, maybe like 1 student or 2 students. But the fact that we have hundreds of students over the course of the 5 years actually accomplish this is absolutely incredible. That's Bard Early College High School, Eastside High School, University High School, and Westside High School. Those 4 are leading the way. But I want to be clear. We have saved parents over $15.6 million in college courses. There are others.
Wow.
Say that again.
We have saved parents over $15.6 million by having their students taking college classes while they're in high school. When Jonathan and I were at Science High School, we were taking college courses, and that was good. But the whole idea that wasn't afforded or the opportunity wasn't in every single high school is what we underscore. This is an opportunity that exists right now in every single one of our high schools where students can take college classes while they're in high school. They're not only doing that, but there are groups of students at those 4 high schools that are actually graduating with an associate's degree. And Jonathan, although this wasn't clarified yesterday at the board meeting, I was saving this for a convocation next week when I meet with the entire staff. But I did make a mistake, or at least an error, unintentional on my part, as last school year ended. I announced that we
Oh,
have.
you're before you make that announcement, you're coming in and out,
He's getting some
and you're
static.
getting a lot of static right now.
And he's on a roll too.
And you were on a roll. You're about to get on a roll. Before you do that, more staticky.
Go out and come back in, Roger. Go out and come back in.
Yeah, if you go out and come back in, sometimes that corrects it, and you can test the mic on the way back. In.
Yeah, hold on. Breaking news from Newark schools. Breaking news from Newark school system. Newark Public Schools Superintendent León has breaking news.
Oh,
You
true.
know, I
The
mean,
college savings
back
account.
to that Chalk
Yes.
Bean
That will-
article. I'm sorry,
Oh, you
Johnson.
said what were we saying, Zach? What were we saying, Baba Zaid?
They couldn't even put a decent picture.
I know. And the chalk bean was crazy. Yeah,
I mean,
it was
they
like,
have an identity.
when they were writing it, they just got mad. They were mad when they were writing it. It was hilarious. He's back. Let's see. Is he?
Testing. Let me hear you. Testing.
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 Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but we think say a little bit more.
I'm afraid.
All right, you're still staticky. We can hear you, but it's very staticky.
Well, I wish I could write this.
Okay, so I think that
we announced $214 million in college scholarships.
$214 million in college scholarships?
Yeah, but that's wrong.
Okay.
That's wrong.
It's wrong?
It's 218 now.
Okay. So you said was it last year's graduating seniors?
The ones who just graduated 2 months ago.
Class of 25. Mm-hmm.
Class of 2025 got 218 million scholarships?
Not what I said.
Okay.
That's not what I said.
What'd you say? What'd you say?
It's the static. $218 million.
Over $218 million.
Over.
So the class of 2025. Wow. Newark children in the class of 225 got over 218 million. Kafele suggested, could you change devices? Could you use your phone?
I wish my daughter had come out of that class.
Oh yeah, because it's almost impossible to hear you right now.
Oh, it's a shame. He's on the
you know you always got something good to say.
Okay, so he's going to try and come back.
Or maybe, or just it's probably a network.
Oh, so we were talking about that. Okay, so here's the thing. Chalkbeat, when you read their article about the high-performing school district, they don't even say it until the second paragraph, and it's not in the headline. Tap Into didn't even write about it. Just were like, it didn't happen.
How about that?
Right. Hilarious, right? So it's kind of like, and my opinion on it, and I'm going to say this when the superintendent's not on, because this is just my opinion on it. My opinion on it is that when you're dealing with and we've known this for a while in terms of dealing with Cami Anderson, et cetera, that charters have their own media, and we've known that since the time of Cami Anderson, and they're able to use media very well, and I think that is the result of that, and nowhere is that seen more than in this particular story, where they just won't report it, right? Or one will report it in a very grudging, very grudging way, right?
That's it. That's the word. Begrudgingly. Yep. Couldn't even put in a damn picture up that was decent. It's just, a wall. You could barely see the number on the building. And another wall. I mean, what kind of sense?
Right.
Modest gains.
Right.
I'm like, oh man, it's just it's really like, if there's anything that's black and brown, they're just like, can't be excellent. We don't want it to be excellent. Okay, so he was backstage and then disappeared from backstage. The rest of Jersey still has got a inbred obsession with
hold on one second
about Newark. Go ahead, brother. No, he's trying to get him on the line. Donna, those were great questions that you asked too. They were right on the money. Just helping bring out more of those important details of just how good that news is. So those questions were really right on time. We got to get in the Kafele's chiming in. We got to get Kafele on one of these days, and this is a good time to get ready to go back to school to get him back on.
So I've actually just put him. He was having some of the technical difficulties. I'm just putting him on speaker. He is on speaker right now, so you can ask questions as well as he tries to get back on the video.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Can you hear him well? Is it good?
Yes. We can hear you,
So I want you to
Superintendent
know,
León.
we graduated 34 students that received teacher contracts this
34.
June. That means in 2029, September of 2029, they will all be returning to the Newark Public Schools as teachers, obviously upon completion of all of their required coursework. They don't have to go look for a position anywhere. They will be actually returning. I have 100 students that will be in college over the last 3 years that are in the same situation. This is my strategy to actually address the national teacher shortage problem. No. We are actually increasing the number of schools in the district. I've opened up 10 new schools since my start. I have my 11th school opening up. I'm going to need teachers. That's why we need teachers. We don't need teachers because there's a national teacher shortage. We need teachers because I'm opening more schools, because we're having more kids attending our schools than over the last 10 years. I have almost 41,000 students in Newark Public Schools this September. So I actually need teachers. And since there is a national teacher shortage, I figured I'd grow my own. So these are students that are in our high schools, students who attended our elementary schools, students from Newark who know everything about our city and understand that greatness is in our city, is in our schools. So I'm so proud of the class of 25 to provide me 34 more students. And what we will be doing is continuing this program. I know that the question was, where else is this occurring? We have a historic 10-year strategic plan, and we're trying to serve as a model for the nation. And I'm not trying to say that in a cocky way. Secretary of Education Cardona, when he heard about this program last year, before the Biden administration actually ended its term, he actually critiqued the country in saying the city of Newark in New Jersey has an idea that makes a lot of sense and is a model for the country.
And that was the idea of literally growing our own graduates by offering them jobs upon completion of their education programs in college.
And if you don't mind me using some radical language, that is organic development.
A little boy from Newark thought of something really good. This is in partnership with Montclair State University that is actually affording our high school students college courses while they're in high school. Our students are learning to become teachers while they're in high school.
Wow.
And then we've partnered them with teachers either at their elementary schools or in their high schools so that they can actually see some of the great teachers right now. These students are being given opportunities to teach, and with the American Federation of Teachers, Randy Whitegarden, its president, has assisted us tremendously in the design of this model that not only includes being taught while they're in high school, being provided student-teacher experiences while they're in high school, but also getting a contract upon completion of their graduation.
Wow. So they have been, so they literally have been being trained to be teachers since they were in high school. And it's a Montclair State, it is a program that in conjunction with Montclair State. And wow, so that, and what is the number of, what is the number again? That's from this graduating class?
The number that graduated this year that received contracts was 34. 32 of them were in the program. 17 were at Eastside High School. 15 were at University High School. The other two students, Aliana from Barringer High School, she was interested in becoming a trainer. So she's the first trainer, athletic trainer, that we've hired that was a student. She's in a special program that was designed by her athletic trainer, who is a product of Newark Public Schools, and she is helping us grow our own athletic trainers. Then you met Miguel Rodriguez Bermudez, who is a student from Arts High School. He's going to William Patterson University. He wants to become a music teacher. He's going to become a great music teacher. And both of them also received the same recognition that the other 32 students. So 34 students in total, 32 that are in the program. And I want you to know, Jonathan, that after that viral video of Miguel Rodriguez Bermudez, I have received many an email from former students who are saying, hey, I want to become a teacher in Newark. Can I get that same deal? Answer, yup. You don't have to be a Newark Public School student to benefit from the greatness of what we are providing our staff. So I just take this opportunity. If you're listening and you're a kid from the city of Newark, as the superintendent who's also a kid from the city of Newark, we're creating opportunities for you while you're in school and when you've graduated from college. We want students to come back to the city of Newark. How else are we going to make the greatest city on the earth be even better? By making sure that we're providing opportunities for our students now, later. And that's what this initiative is all about.
That is organic development, if you don't mind me using some radical language for a minute. Right on to that.
And the follow-up question.
Absolutely right, sir. Absolutely right. It is allowing, it is testifying to our students right now that we can make change with them. We're so accustomed to seeing things being changed around us and being a victim of circumstances that we did not design. The strategic plan is trying to design a process by which the people become stronger because of the people.
And Donna, the last question we're going to ask about the kindergartners.
No, that I will follow up. Because when Superintendent León started on, I was like, we're telling our own story. And I know in creating your schools, you have several different schools that are based. Do you have a school of journalism? And more specifically, in any of the schools, is there a program where you put out like a Newark school newspaper so that you can, in fact, tell your own stories?
Yeah, Don, you just set it up. He's about to hit this.
So does Brother Zaid and Jonathan as well. But Jonathan, I'm hoping that we get to talk about Newark Saves. If you can say that, then I won't talk about it right now. Is that okay?
Well, you could talk about answer that particular Newark Saves. What is actually?
I want to answer her question first. No, we do offer journalism as an elective in our high schools, but I want everyone to be aware that down on Elizabeth Avenue, there was a school called Dayton Street School, and around it lived some of the most incredible people of our city. As that housing project development has been removed, Lionsgate, the creation of the first ever studios in Newark, is underway. So what we will be doing is, we're actually doing it already right now. We will be making some upgrades at Dayton and opening up their new media high school. It'll have the creation of producers and writers. You know how Arts High School has the distinct pleasure of showcasing to the world the greatest, like Sarah Vaughan, and incredible talents like Michael B. Jordan. Well, New Media High School is going to be the other side of the camera, where there are students that will learn how to mix and produce and really engage in the other aspect of the work that is on the other side of the camera. That's where we will offer not only a journalism elective, but opportunities for students to actually become writers in that school. So from the work that y'all are doing, you all are a perfect model for what we're going to be creating in the school.
This could be a laboratory.
So that when the industry comes to do work at Lionsgate, they will obviously be in work and partnership with us. So Lionsgate already is in partnership with Yonkers Public Schools. We've already visited Yonkers, and we are looking forward to being a part of a major revelation, a major
innovation
of the greatness of the artists in our city, because we're going to have kids who are going to be looking for those artists at Arts High School, Barringer High School, and Eastside High School, and throughout our entire city to be in shows and be in productions. They're going to learn how to do stages. There are students that are working really hard and want to be stage hands. These are going to be providing unique opportunities for students in all of our schools, even in our specialized schools as well. So, yes, we offer journalism as an elective. No, we don't have a school that does what you are suggesting, but New Media High is on the way.
And what is that? You wanted to jump into that?
Okay.
So Newark Saves is a college savings account program that we just launched yesterday. All kindergartners in Newark Public Schools this September will receive, through our partnership with Prudential Foundation and Focus, a savings account. And that savings account consists of more than just deposits of money. We will incorporate a financial literacy component where we will be working with parents so that they can understand the importance of why we save now to cash in 15 years later. We sometimes are found to live day by day, and I get that. You know, y'all know my humble beginnings. But one of the greatest realities of my life has been my mom, and the idea that she saved for later. A lot of times people can't do that because they have expenses now. So what we're doing in creating 529 accounts for every kindergartner in Newark Public Schools, we're teaching parents the importance of savings. The students will get deposits into those accounts. Real money. The Prudential Foundation has given us a $150,000 seed grant where we will place in every single one of these 5-year-olds, 25, I say 5-year-olds, that's about the age, but everyone met Kenzie yesterday. She's our 4-year-old who's going to eventually be 5-year-old. So any child entering kindergarten will receive a savings account with $25 to start off. This will complement the curricular program that we're providing the students. In order to graduate from New Jersey's high schools, you are required to take a financial literacy course in high school. Well, that's a little too late to learn about financial literacy. So we're creating a program throughout the grades, and this program will complement that work.
Wow. So those are a lot of incredibly positive programs that are there. We're going to get back to talking about some of the other accomplishments within the city, but I want to make sure that we circle back to the issue that we have really talked about every time that you've been on our show for the last few years. And this was not a manufactured controversy, but something that was real and painful for the district, and that's global studies. There was recently a settlement for about $200,000. I know you probably can't talk about anything in the specifics, but in terms of that controversy, clearly mistakes were made. There were things that should have been done differently. What would you have done, or what could you have done differently if you had a mirror situation like that now?
Well, I think that the issue of race is one that people have a general tendency to shy away from. And so it's extremely important that students are aware that being disrespected in any fashion, this specifically is about race, but in any other fashion, about your height, about your weight, about who you care for, who you love. Unacceptable. The idea that students engage in conversations that may in fact be or are inappropriate has to be called out. And that there are accountability measures across various streams. When kids go to adults, is because they have, in fact, hit a wall that they are now looking for someone else to say, cure this error. I applaud all of those students who have attended global studies, those who are obviously even still there today, for the incredible work that has been underway. Healing is occurring, and that is ultimately super important for everyone. And obviously, everyone may not be healing in the same way. Ultimately, the idea of what our students deal with today is quite different than when I was growing up. So I couldn't fathom this occurring in the big field high court projects back when I was little. I think we would have handled it in a far different way. And, you know, people may not agree with today's standards of how we would have handled it. You know, when we were in disagreement back then, we did one of two things. And one of the two things that we would do is have a kickball fight. A kickball game. And in some instances when that didn't work, people wouldn't talk about the problem. They would actually do something about it. And so the young people today didn't do either of those things. They looked to adults to say, you guys need to help us with this problem. So I applaud students who today would have obviously handled it differently than we would have back then.
Right, which is a good thing.
And that it's incumbent upon adults to wrap themselves around all of the students, in particular, any student who has, in fact, been harmed in such a way.
Now, in a more specific way, right? If a kid, like we're starting the new school year, if a kid goes into school and he's called the N-word, what specific policies are in place? Where should the kid go? And will it be very clear where he should go and what would happen? Like, run us through it, right? Like, kid, something happens, what does he do?
In the scenario that you just referenced, and that just being it, the students should not be having any conversation with each other that uses a name other than that which the parent has actually defined for their own child. So, period. There's no room for any of that at any point in time. In every single one of our schools, we have an HIB specialist. And that's the person who's assigned the most important task. If this is not an administrator in the school, more likely than not, it's not even a teacher in the school. But this person has an authority over everyone in that building on this very topic. So obviously, I would not want any student to be thinking that a student being disrespectful to them is something that they should keep to themselves. So the first and most important thing is obviously in the school getting the assistance and support of any adult, an adult you trust. And you have to make sure that you're in constant conversations and always informing your parents, this is what's occurring, this is what's occurring. It's a both and situation because ultimately all of the adults have to understand that we can never allow any disrespect of any kind, race and otherwise, on any student. So students, obviously, there are classmates that they can coalesce around, and I applaud them for doing that. We have established during the course of last year across every high school peer leaders. So I have students that have meetings with me, my superintendent's council of students. So they have a direct line to the superintendent. There are usually no adults in the room. There's a no holds barred conversation between student leaders and myself that we have created. Mental health ambassadors in every single one of our high schools, that we train them so that they're not supposed to be and do the job of adults, but they're supposed to be aware of what and are some triggers that are actually occurring now with students so that we begin to address them wholeheartedly. And to the extent that we have peer mediators at the school so that students that are in conflict with each other who may not bring it to the attention of an adult have students in their own building that they can go to say, hey, as a student leader, help me with this specific problem. So our strategy has been to attack it from every angle, from professional development to staff, to professional development of students, to making sure that those who are the experts are trained so that every student feels like there's an adult that they can go to in their schools.
And Zai, do you have anything to add on this? All right. So the final question on this, and this is something that Principal Kafele always says. He says that whatever happens in a building is the responsibility of that principal. They are the leader. The buck stops there. I know you think. I know you say that you are the superintendent. Anything that happens in a school, the buck stops there. When we're talking about anti-Blackness and dealing with like anti-Blackness, people talk about like curriculum. They talk about like what to do in terms of the teaching aspect of it as well. Are there anything else in terms of just like the Bashir Akinyele question, in terms of how is the teaching of African American history? How is the teaching of Blackness within the schools, like with the Amistad? How is that? How is Newark doing with that?
And let me and before you answer,
the whole idea to kind of put a footnote just on global studies is that this is a school designed to create ambassadors. That was the intent of the school. You learn either Arabic or Chinese, and part of the learning is and deals with international travel. So we've been going to Morocco for a couple of years now, and Taiwan. They were actually in both countries in the latter part of last school year, and they've done that in each of the years. Sometimes we have to snatch our students out of what they're comfortable in to understand that they should not have been comfortable there in the first place. So we've had students travel and have returned back because the students at Global Studies have to help us as examples throughout our high schools as well. So ironically enough, there are only about 50 or so school districts in New Jersey that offer African American studies in advanced placement courses in their high schools. The Newark Public Schools joined in as one of the very few school districts in America that began piloting this course. So it's a very it's advanced placement or college level courses, and obviously implementing anything that has never been taught before is always under scrutiny. So I understand that other states may not have entered into this pilot, but we know that more states and more school districts are utilizing it today, albeit very well less than 100 in New Jersey of the over 600 school districts that we have. So that course is proving, and I'll share at convocation, and then John, if you can, you can actually share those results of what is actually occurring in our high schools as it relates to the performance of the students based on everything that they're learning. The Amistad curriculum, one of the things that has happened, and Assemblyman Payne spearheaded this work tremendously, deals with how do you teach it? Do you embed it, or do you teach it separate and apart? So the district has constantly worked at and tried and has done both. People like Akageli, people like Director Conover, who actually is the Director of Social Studies in the district, are helping lead conversations that have curricular impact in classrooms, not only in the high schools, but obviously in the elementary schools. So professional development becomes extremely important. We're obviously constantly doing that, but intensifying it in this space.
Yeah, and I think that Bashir Akinyele, one of the founders of the show, worked with Conover for the Amistad curriculum as well. Just a shout out to Bashir Akinyele on that as well.
And Superintendent León
has been controversial, and I think this is important in terms of just the image of Newark and the image of the Newark Public Schools. When I asked people about it, and when I was talking about the high-performing district, immediately certain people who I talked to, well-meaning, right, but based on what they hear over and over again, the first thing they said was, Newark kids can't read. There was a third grade test a few years ago that showed very high rates of not doing well on that particular test. Can you tell us again, right? Like we have this conversation a few times, but the reason why I bring it up is because it is so powerful in terms of how much that reverberates and how much people, when they think of Newark, they think of those particular scores, and that's what they say. So what happened then, and what is being done to address literacy in the city of Newark? Can you talk to us, and what are some of the results that have happened since then?
Yeah, so it's extremely important because it's difficult. It's not a simple concept to understand. So I get why people are confused, or why people in not understanding it continue to do their narrative. The assessments are not on can children read. Because if the children in the Newark Public Schools couldn't read, then I wouldn't have been able to say that they received over $218 million in college scholarships, because then that would mean that there are a whole bunch of colleges who are accepting kids who can't read. And no one obviously is making that claim. So the test is on proficiency as it relates to standards in New Jersey. And be clear about it. But we want to make sure that every single one of our students meets the state standards. And there's evidence that they're obviously doing that. In ninth grade English, for the second year in a row, we have students that have increased their student achievement from before the pandemic hit. So we use the pandemic as a barometer. The dip that occurred after the pandemic is quite steep. The idea that New Jersey didn't test for 2 years adds to the complication of it. We know that urban school districts across the country are doing poorly in English language arts, and then worse in mathematics. And Newark is the same. As it relates to performance, that they do better in the older grades than in the younger grades. But the test that the students took in third grade was not a test about students who couldn't read. We actually reported out that we knew how many third graders, of the thousands of third graders, we had under 200 that actually were having an inability and difficulty in actually reading. because there are assessments that we administer that actually allow us to really know that, because those are tests that are designed to say, can a child actually read, which is not what is tested on the state assessments.
So
And
you're
we
saying
know
that
that
the test that was used
sixth
was
grade this year, the students actually met the standard of prior to the pandemic. Overall, in all of the English language arts classes, there are increases in every single one of the grades. So what's attributing to all of that? So we have launched a Newark Reads initiative that in collaboration with the mayor's work in the city of Newark is definitely assisting us. We have Senator Louise, who helped earmark $1 million last school year, another $1 million that we announced yesterday for this school year, not only for students in the Newark Public Schools, which is what I govern over, but students that are in the early grades in every single one of the schools in the city of Newark. That's charter schools and the parochial schools, as well as the district schools. We'll be talking more about that work. So the Newark Reads initiative is helping students to actually create libraries in their homes, so that we're constantly creating this culture in our schools of the importance of students reading books by authors who look like them, reading books by authors who look like somebody else around them, to read some of the greats that have been written by people who don't look like any of our students. So engrossing our students with more literacy is extremely important. And then the other thing that will be announced next week that I believe is going to help us immensely is that we've created a snapshot that is a document of every grade from pre-K to 8th grade of everything that we expect students to know. How many words they should know by the end of age 3. How many books they should be reading by kindergarten. So that we are empowering parents to assist us as the partners that they are in making sure that every student is aware of what is expected of them, as well as what parents can do to assist us. And the important part of these snapshots, so there's one for every grade. It's like a booklet, like we used to do when we were younger, John. But in each one, there's a QR code. So what the parent of a first grader can do is use the QR code, and they can see what's going on in 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, all the way to 8th grade. So the snapshot is a snapshot of every grade. And while the parent might only get the snapshot of their child's grade, the QR code will help them access all of the years through 8th grade. We think that this document will complement everything else that we're doing and will assist parents. You know, there are some parents who are worrying about their child right now. I get it. There are some parents who are like, my child is in 4th grade. Did they learn all of the skills in kindergarten? Well, they can actually go use the QR code and see what skills did their child need to master to actually do better in 4th grade. And so parents, as well as teachers, can create interventions for students that are behind so that we get them caught up. And for those who can go ahead, to allow them to accelerate on. We don't need a student to know about what's happening in 8th grade when they get into 8th grade. We know that they can learn about that when they're younger. And so this document will help parents do that.
Okay. So I know we're nearing the end of our time, but we want to get on
Jump in. Can you hear me?
Start the school year. And we know that parents have a lot of choices. We know that they have choices of, between charters and Newark Public Schools. At some point, we do want to get you back on to have some questions about some other stuff relating to that. But when you're looking at parents and parents who have choices, why should they choose the Newark Public Schools?
Well, the issue of choice becomes extremely important when we live down neck. we were having an issue in the apartment that we were in. And so my mom decided to move. And what she learned was that because she moved a certain number of blocks, I couldn't continue as a student at Hawkins Street School. So what she did is she found an apartment around the corner from where we were, and that's where we stayed the majority of my adult life. And so the idea that she couldn't live where she wanted to was a problem. The fact that she couldn't have her child attend the school that she wanted to was another problem. What we're doing in Newark Public Schools is letting people know your choice matters to us. We want you to be thinking of what is happening in our high schools in particular, and knowing that our elementary schools are providing opportunities for you to accelerate and do well, whether it's in elementary school or later on in high school. There are people who have children in parochial schools and even private schools and charter schools in Newark. That's their right to make that choice. But I want to say that there are parents who don't choose any school in Newark, that they've concluded that none of the schools in Newark are not for them. I send them this message. I know that there are great teachers in the charter schools because I've visited them. I know that there are great teachers in the Catholic schools because I've visited them. And I know that there are great teachers in the Newark Public Schools because I lead them. The idea that Newark Public Schools is a choice was my obligation. The fact that there are other choices is what makes our city so great.
And I was using this as a way to talk about some of the schools that are opening up and some of the other stuff that's going on. I know that there's one that has had a little journey, and to highlight what are some of the options, especially at the high school level, that many people may not know about.
Yeah, so I've opened up 11 new schools, with this one in September being my 11th school. There are 5 new high schools that you can choose from. I do want to make the point that every single one of our comprehensive high schools has met the Middle States accreditation standard. So every single one of the schools that are there has a specific program that is worthy of anybody's child actually attending. There's an honors program, an honors track at every single one of the comprehensive high schools that has resulted in students choosing to go to comprehensive high schools over other high schools because they get to be in the GNT programs there. Newark Vocational has my culinary arts program, graphic arts, as well as a printing program, and my travel and tourism program.
I heard that Vocational has the best cafe. I've not been, but people laud about the food that comes out of Newark Vocational.
Let me tell you something. Brian and the students that were in the Newark Chops video, and you can access it on the district's website, they won first place in Florida on the entree. That's how great the chefs are that teach our students. Let me make it very clear. The greatness I'm talking about, the greatness of our students, that the teaching staff members are the integral, closest persons to the most significant heartbeat in the classroom, that of our students. And so the chefs and the student chefs are doing an absolutely incredible job at Newark Vocational. Global Studies, I already shared Arabic and Chinese, and part of the program is the travel abroad. They visited Louise, our provost of Malcolm X Shabazz High School and Global Studies is Atala Shabazz, the ambassador of Belize.
That's Malcolm's oldest daughter.
Of Dr. Betty Shabazz and Malcolm X Shabazz. And so the work that she's doing at both of those schools is uplifting for both of those. But that's pretty much the focus at Global Studies. We have data science and information technology, which is in the West Ward. That high school focuses on cybersecurity.
One clarification.
Jonathan, you don't know how impressive are the students that are there and the technology skills that they walk into the school with. Absolutely incredible. And then the last new school that we have already opened, all of these schools have graduated through senior year, is Fashion and Design High School. They have done an absolutely incredible job, and that's the school that teaches students about fashion and design. They were showcased in our first citywide fashion show, where all of the students from the high schools, the cosmetology program from Westside, the cosmetology program from Westside and from Malcolm X Shabazz, actually incorporated the students who know how to do hair, as well as the students who can do cosmetics, to actually build from the beauty programs that their schools are focused on, to actually assist the students that were actually in the fashion show and the models that showcase the clothes of our student designers. The Newark School of Architecture and Interior Design is the new high school. It's the 5th high school I've opened. It officially opens in September, and ironically enough, it is a school of architecture and design. So it makes a whole lot of sense that the school is still being built, because it will take us a good year to finish the rest of the school. So the school will offer plumbing, electricity, and HVAC to students who would like to learn any of those trades. And then the honors program has an architecture focus. All of the students will be able to graduate from their high school 4 years later with a real estate license, as well as all of the work that we're doing with apprenticeships for industry certifications. One of the beauties of this program is that as the superintendent of the largest school district in New Jersey, I have a trades team, like my own construction company. I'm going to be hiring these students to become plumbers, to become electricians, to become my HVAC experts. I'm extremely excited about that. But, you know, just like all the other programs, we have a college partner and we have a professional organization. Newark Associates, this lady is one of the very few women who leads construction companies. Real estate is in the real estate business, in fact. And what she's done is talked with a number of men who lead their respective companies, because it is a male-dominated industry. And what she has told them is they are all to create 10 opportunities for internship for students in this high school. So these students aren't even aware yet that underway right now and shared into the school year will be internship opportunities where they will get paid beyond the school day to actually work with some experts in the industry. So during the day, they'll work with my trade staff. During the evenings, they will work with these companies. We're teaching them the importance of being union-minded, so that they and their parents, if in fact they have parents who do this all too important work, need to understand the importance of the respect that comes with being a trade staff person.
Superintendent, I know. Thank you so much for all of the information, and also for granting us this interview before the beginning of the school year. We are going to have to get you back on because we need to talk about some more things as well.
So September 2nd is the first day of school. Everyone has to be at their lines at 8:15 a.m. and we wind up dismissing classes at 3:05 p.m. September 2nd, 8:15 to 3:05.
Superintendent, you can't leave. You can't leave.
From the superintendent of Newark Public Schools, thank you for coming on.
Wait, Jonathan, superintendent.
Going on in the Newark Public School system.
Thank you for hosting us, Jonathan.
No, thank you, and take care.
All right,
Jonathan.
She wanted to ask him the ritual question.
I actually forgot that Malcolm X's daughter works for is a consultant
Wait.
for the
He's
Newark
embedded at Shabazz.
and I
Zaid. Wait.
ask
Zaid.
him again, which I
We
know
can't hear you.
Malcolm Shabazz, but he said one
Yeah.
other school as well. I didn't know she worked with a different school. Donna, what's up?
Can you hear me?
Donna, we can't hear
you
you.
hear me?
No,
You
can't
can
hear
you?
you. I
Donna,
can hear you,
we
Donna,
can't hear
but
you.
Jonathan can't.
Okay.
Yeah,
So, wait, can you hear me at all?
I can hear you. You can't
You
hear
can't
me.
hear me.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Could you not hear me before?
Yes. I could hear you.
So you
Look,
could
I got a
or could
demon
not?
on the street.
I'm going out and coming back.
No. Question. Could you hear the superintendent?
Yes,
Yes.
you heard him.
Mhm.
Okay, so you heard
He's
all the
trying to ask
superintendent.
questions.
Yes.
Okay, so you were getting my because when you were making, I didn't know if your sound was working.
Yeah. So you can't hear me.
I can hear you now very well.
Okay. Zaid, you can hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Okay. Now everybody can hear me. Okay. Yeah, I was
Yeah, I
trying
couldn't
to
hear
ask
you
a
before.
question.
Demon's in the street.
Okay.
We need to hear him.
Okay.
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 Yeah,
Got you.
I couldn't hear you at all.
Streets of
But
New Brunswick
Okay.
are hot. We need to hear him.
fair. All right, so
No, I can hear him. I just wanted to make sure because I was trying to ask him a question. Okay, but okay.
okay, I couldn't hear
Then
you.
at that point, he could not hear you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I couldn't hear you when you were speaking just then. Like you were motioning, and I was like, "Oh, I can't hear you."
Okay, but Chair,
I didn't hear
okay,
you.
our 8 o'clock is here, so let's go forward.
Yeah,
Chairman
so-
is here. He looks like he's in New Brunswick on the streets.
And 8
All right.
o'clock is hot because we have a fresh case of police brutality and terror with the killing of 68-year-old Black senior citizen Deborah Terrell in a mental health crisis. Today, at this very moment, is the second action of the people in protesting about that outrageous incident. Lawrence Hamm, Adim Muchunga is right there in the field reporting to us live. Adim will tell us what's happening on the streets of New Brunswick.
Yes, I'm here in New Brunswick for a vigil for Deborah Terrell, 68-year-old Black woman, mother and grandmother, who was killed by the New Brunswick police in her building. I'm going to show you the building. There's the building. That's a senior citizen building.
Senior Citizens Building.
It's a senior citizen building in New Brunswick. And she was at near her apartment door when she was pepper sprayed, tased, and shot and killed by the police in that senior citizen building. Imagine that, a Black senior citizen being killed in the senior citizen
That
building.
should be the safest place in any town.
It should be the safest place. And it should be a place that has all the amenities and services senior citizens need.
Exactly.
Sister Terrell may have been in some type of emotional distress, and the police should have been accompanied by a crisis intervention team, like they were supposed to have in Patterson when Najee Seabrooks was killed. New Brunswick, for those who don't know, is the home of Robert Wood Johnson Hospital, one of the biggest, most endowed hospitals in the state. I mean, Robert Wood Johnson and Johnson, right? Everybody know Johnson and Johnson. Robert Wood Johnson. They got all the medical people, the psychologists, the sociologists. They should have a crisis intervention team to go with the police. There's no reason a woman that didn't weigh 140 pounds should have been killed by the police. They should have been able to handle that situation in a totally different way. She should be alive. She shouldn't be dead. If it was a 68-year-old white grandmother, she wouldn't be dead. I'm telling you.
Right.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
So what do the streets
I
look
get
like? What
emotional
kind
when
of
I
turnout?
talk about it.
That's no,
Huh?
you absolutely, because it's outrageous, and of course I'm supposed to be asking questions, so I'm trying to keep my head from cussing, the world out as we're talking. But the question,
Chairman, do we know?
Hold on, Don.
Okay.
Hold on, Don. What do the streets look like tonight? Who's out tonight?
Well, I'm trying to show you. Nielsen Street is filled with people. I'm further down the street because if I was standing at the vigil, you wouldn't be able to hear me because they're playing music. But There are about 200 people here. Everybody has white balloons. At a certain point, they're going to release the balloons in her memory. And Zaid, you know, we were in New Brunswick on Wednesday, and the spirit of justice and righteous
Very strong.
indignation was in the streets
Very
of New
strong.
Brunswick on Wednesday. But today, here in front of this building where she was killed, there are people here with their children, their families. So there's a spirit of community, a spirit of unity going on here today, and there's much love being shown here for Sister Deborah Terrell.
Chairman, do we
Go ahead.
know, has the prosecutor been assigned to the case? Do we know the officer and why he took that type of force? And is he still working? Is he on administrative, or what's going
Well,
on?
these are questions. These are questions. Excuse me. These are questions we tried to get answers to when we were at the city council meeting on Wednesday. What we do know is that New Jersey has what we call the independent prosecutor bill. So now when police kill someone, the case cannot be taken by the prosecutor in the county of the municipality that employed the police that killed the person. It has to be taken over by the state attorney general's office, and the state attorney general can either take the case himself or herself, or they can assign it to a county prosecutor other than the county prosecutor of the municipality that employed the police that killed them. So this case is now in the hands of the state attorney general, and maybe Zaid can answer some of those other questions you asked. Zaid, do you have any answers on those questions?
The answers are to those answers. No, and there should have happened. This incident took place on August 8th. It should not take so long to, one, release the body cam footage of those officers, two, to release the names of the officers who were involved. Should not have taken that long. And it should have happened and started with the family. That's the protocol, to bring the family in to review that and to review that together with a victim's compensation person. That's how it should go. But here we are. This is August 22nd now, almost 2 weeks. That hasn't happened yet. And that is absolutely unacceptable, unexcusable, and makes no sense. Further, on the question of crisis response, you mentioned Seabrooks, Washington, right? The Seabrooks, Washington bill signed almost 2 years ago, January 2024, marked $2 million in 5 counties to build out crisis response teams. New Brunswick is one of those 5 counties, and the only one that has dedicated parties to do that. That's where we're at.
And Zay, do we know why that type of force has any statement been made?
No statement of an official kind has come from no quarter in official land, neither from the Attorney General's office nor the New Brunswick Police. Almost 2 weeks later, it makes absolutely no sense. Damon, now what's happening on the streets now? We can hear people behind you. What's happening on the streets?
Well, the people are here. They've turned the music off, and I think the speaking program is getting ready to start. I want to give much respect to Brother Tormel Pittman.
Absolutely.
He's actually a member of Deborah Terrell's family, and he has been the spokesperson for the family and the key organizer in this effort down here. Who's this behind? Brother Bill Davis is here. Y'all know Brother Bill Davis. We on TV, brother. We on All Politics Are Local. This is Bill's stomping ground. He's a professor here at Rutgers University. He lives in Piscataway, which is right next to New Brunswick, New Jersey. So there's, like I said, the speaking program has begun now, and you know,
and Chairman, did any city officials join you at the?
Yes, in fact, the councilman Glenn, what's his last name?
Fleming.
Glenn Fleming. We saw him when Zaid. He was the brother that had on the brown shirt.
Yes,
he's a councilman.
He's speaking now.
He's speaking now. You know, so he's there, and I think he was the one that made the motion to have the AG reveal the names of the police,
Yes.
and submit the body cam footage.
Yes.
And he brought the motion, and the sister on the council seconded, but the president of the council would not call the vote on the motion.
Right.
So they referred it to the corporate council was sitting there. You know what his job was? His job was, oh, we have to put this under review.
Right.
You know, and all it was, and I actually had a conversation with Glenn before the rally started tonight.
Right.
And he said all it was an expression of interest. The resolution was to say it's the feeling of the council that you should do this. There wasn't like anything, any legally
There was no
binding
legal
thing.
stake involved.
You
That's
know,
right.
it was a symbolic
No
thing,
liability
but they
was
wouldn't
involved,
even
none of
bring
that.
it to the floor for a vote. And this is what we're confronted with in this. And this didn't start with Trump. Police brutality was a problem. But go ahead, Bill, say something. You on screen here.
So what I hope, lad, when you get a chance to speak tonight, the current mayor of New Brunswick this is the fourth murder on his watch.
The fourth
murder on his watch. Barry DeLoach, Sean Potts, Sissy Adams, and now Deborah Terrell. We need to come out of this tragedy with serious energy about getting the mayor out and whoever the chairman or the president of the city council out. It is time for change in this city. So when you go up tonight, you need to posit that idea that one way to heal is for there to be significant change in leadership of this city.
Right. Say the
And
names
Bill
of the four people
and
they
Bill,
killed.
how many
Wait.
are any of the other murders police involved, or this is the only one with police
Those are
Oh,
involved?
no, they were all police involved.
Those were all
Sean
police.
They're
Potts
all
was the
police
first one.
involved.
All police
And have
involved.
and
None
have
of
the
the cops-
prosecutor been assigned to all of them? The
Well,
other
so
ones
Brad
yet?
DeLoach was the first one, which was over 20 years ago. He was running away from the cops. The cops supposedly were chasing him, lost his balance, and shot him in the back. Right?
That's
And so just
Tormel
talking,
led those protests. Let's not do
I
that.
didn't
Say the name.
I didn't realize that I knew Deborah Terrell's son. And so supposedly someone I was coming up today that one of the cops, Spanish cop, who's actually the person that shot her, lost his balance. That's how she got shot. Right? And so all four cases, Sean Potts, Barry DeLoach, Sissy Adams, Deborah Terrell, were all killed by the police. And none of the other three cases, none of the cops went to jail. The fact this is a Spanish cop, he might end up going to jail because they violated all the protocols. So it's supposed to be arrived together after Seabrooks got killed. Right.
That's
And
in
so
the
then-
Attorney General's lap too, by the way. And that lacks 24-hour capacity everywhere it exists.
Right. And so what we're faced with is the fact that, you know, people in New Brunswick, the cops are all from New Brunswick. So the people in the community know who all of them are. And that's how they found out information about what took place, because the people who know the cops have been revealing the information as opposed to coming from Plackett. So we've got some work to do to get rid of some of these people around here, because this is just crazy to me that he's been a man for over 30 years. It's been time for his ass to go.
1991.
And if she had been a white 68-year-old woman, mother, grandmother, she'd be alive today.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, there's no reason. I mean, what kind of training? 4 men.
Right.
We saw a shooting. We saw a similar situation, not a shooting, a similar situation in East Orange about a week ago.
That's
The
right.
cops, four cruiser vehicles pulled up. They just waited the man out. He had a knife. He was walking around. He was mentally challenged. They just waited him out, and they took him alive. They should have did the same thing with her.
Absolutely.
And as we watched on 2 times, he came at the police officer and they backed up. Yeah. So and we watched it.
Yes, they save who they want to save, and they kill who they want to kill.
Yeah. One of the things that came out of that city council meeting, and it came from the community, it didn't come from anybody on the elected front or the official front, was that several weeks ago, there was an elderly woman who was not black, who was in fact in a mental health crisis, who had a knife, and who was also was given the protocols of de-escalation and waited out and taken care of the way Deborah Terrell was not taken care of and ultimately killed. So that, you know, there's no excuse for how that went down. None whatsoever.
Jonathan, I want to tell you, I enjoyed visiting your class earlier this week.
I came in right behind you.
All right.
Yep. I
Bill's
had you
gonna
on
leave us.
Wednesday.
Yeah, I really enjoyed being in your class. It was one of the best interactions I had. I'm not changing the subject, by the way, but I wanted to get this in at some point. You know, it was the most interactive experience I've had with students in quite a while. Usually when I'm asked to come in, they let me speak for whatever, 30 minutes, whatever. And then they ask questions. I wasn't 5 minutes into my talk, and them students started asking me questions. And that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. That's really the Socratic method, you know, which is the best method. You got a question, ask a question and get an answer, you know. But it was very good. So thank you for inviting me. And the salmon for lunch was slamming, brother. I've been dreaming about that salmon ever since. I had dreams about the salmon.
And Chairman, while we getting it in, is Bill Davis still here with you?
No, Bill had to go back. He's not with me.
He got to come back. I just watched him on YouTube doing slavery in New Jersey. He has to come on and talk about that in light of what's going on.
Well, you know, you got to get Brother Bill on. You know that.
Yeah.
You know, we got so many people. We got so many freedom fighters in this state, and we need to be giving them as much exposure as possible. You can't go to the same people over and over. There's 21 counties in this state. We got people fighting for justice in all 21 counties because there's problems in all 21 counties. And we got to start doing what we can to bring these other folks to the fore. We got Steve Young in Atlantic City. You know, we got folks all over. We got Bill Davis here in New Brunswick. You know, we got Talia Armstrong in Trenton, New Jersey, and on and on and on. I mean, I was up in Bergen County, up there in Hackensack. They had a whole, they call it Voterville. They got an Essex County Black Caucus in Bergen County. You know, so we gotta do what we can to give these other leaders some space.
And especially in light of what's going on with, I don't know, the president trying to dictate what the Smithsonian can and cannot do, but and the misteachings that is coming out as a result of what the president is trying to do is one of the things I wanted to ask the superintendent. And I mean, we had so much time, but what happened at History High, and how do you combat, you know, when it's coming from a federal level, so to speak, and, you know, coming into a new school year, how do we deal with this?
Right. Well, let me just say this. We should be concerned about what's going on at the Smithsonian. But let's just be honest. There's a war on Black people in this country. We are at war. It's the Smithsonian. Yes, it's the fact that 300,000 Black women lost their jobs. Yes, it's the fact that troops are in the streets of Washington, D.C. These people are at war with us. They are literally trying to rewrite history, and they are trying to erase us. They're trying to erase our history. And you know what the erasure of history is called? It's called cultural genocide. So they're trying to erase our history, but in erasing our history, they're trying to erase us. They're trying to erase us physically. You know, so we had a little thing at the Smithsonian. Like Trump wants to, like he's the high commissioner, so he gonna go through the museum and say, take this out and take that out. What they're trying to do is fashion a history that's a white supremacist history, and anything that shows resistance or exposes them for the racists that they are, they want to take that stuff out. And we should not accept that. I don't know why there's not more outrage going on. You know, people are on social media and making movies and all this stuff. You see what's behind me? This is what Black people should be doing. We need to be in the streets, in these streets. We need to be raising hell I mean, just think about that. In 90 days, 318,000 black women lost their jobs because they worked for the federal government. We disproportionately represented among. So when they laid off all those federal workers, a whole lot of black people got laid off. They're
And because of
shooting us
those,
down.
they got targeted.
They're shooting our mothers down in the streets.
And at the command of the president, you have people sitting on TV shows telling black people to get over slavery. Just get over it.
I mean,
like we need to get over it.
Can you imagine if a black elected official anywhere in America said Jews should get over the Holocaust? Do you know what the outcry would be? You wouldn't be able to move. You wouldn't be able to move. I mean, listen to this. The fact we talking about reparations, they extorted $200 million from Columbia University because of so-called anti-Semitism. And it wasn't no real anti-Semitism. It was people correctly criticizing the policy of the racist apartheid regime of Israel. You know, so they're going to give $200 million for a fake accusation of anti-Semitism, but they can't give us reparations. We can't even get the word. We can't even get a bill with the word that says, I mean, it's a disgrace. In New Jersey, a Democratic state, we can't even get bills that pertain to black people out of committee. Well, they say it's reparations, not just reparations. They won't release the John Lewis Voting Rights Act of New Jersey. They won't release the same day registration bill. Any bill that specifically pertains to us and helps us is stuck in committee.
Including the CCRB bill, which would address this crazy
Exactly. I see our brother Hakeem is here. I guess it's time for me to jump off. I'm glad to see.
It is not a time for you to jump off. You can definitely stay on, right? Definitely stay on.
Well, I got to get back to the rally, or else they go so bad about me.
You need to jump off, but don't stay away, man. Especially when you start speaking. We're gonna talk extensively about 24 hours of peace. But of course, Larry, you can jump back on as well. We're on for a little bit.
Tell Tormel he can jump on anytime.
All right.
Link there.
All right.
And Chairman, and let them know about 24 hours of peace, because they're protesting violence down in New Brunswick, and they can come join, 24 hours of peace, because what happened there is horrific.
Yeah, and I want to just segue into talking about, you talked about how we need to recognize different leaders, right?
Right.
And Hakeem Green is a leader.
For sure. I have the greatest admiration for Brother Hakeem Green. He's brilliant. He's a brilliant cultural worker and a brilliant activist, and he's right on. I've heard him speak, and when he's on this show, I sit back, I keep quiet, and I listen, because I learn things when that brother speaks.
Hey,
I feel it. I'm humble, extremely humble, and just coming out of the conversation about elder ancestor now Terrell, I'm just learning about this, and I'm speechless. It's a hard transition to talk about 24 hours of peace when we should be in the streets in New Brunswick right now.
Right. But they are flip sides of the exact same thing that we have to do, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Talking about, I say that you're Newark's ambassador of hip hop, but
yes, he is.
That is I think this week, Chairman Hamm came to my classroom. One of the things that we talked about was aesthetics, and we talked about that in relation to revolutionary movements. And the importance of aesthetics, the importance of what is beautiful, what is not beautiful, right? Like what is good, what is bad, in terms of our representations and representations of us. We talked about that when Baba Zaid came. We talked about aesthetics as well, right? In terms of Amir Baraka and the Black Arts Movement, and that word, right, kept popping up. When the only way that we will get more people down there in those streets is if more people go to things that you're talking about. Because I think that what you're talking about in terms of 24-hour peace is a mindset. It's a mindset that's rooted in love, in our communal love, right?
Yeah.
Because you're like, we need to celebrate culture and art in the way that brings peace, and you're defining it. And we always say, what is hip hop? What is not? We always have these debates, right? That was the whole Drake Kendrick thing. Now it's rap, the commercial, you sell out. You're not representation. You're not representing the community. I think that what you're doing, although it seems very different, it is a flip side of the same thing. You are in the streets to protest great injustice. You are in the streets to celebrate beauty, love, with knowledge of the injustice that is all around, that forms and helps create the culture that we have. So you are a cultural worker, which is an important job, because it is, to some extent, you are a curator of culture in ways that has a marked agenda that is rooted in our community. So thank you. Welcome back on All Politics Are Local. You are a part of our show. You're not a guest. You are a co-producer.
Back home.
Welcome.
Yes, 24 hours of peace, love, unity, safely having fun. September 5th and 6th in the West Ward on Central Avenue. Second year we've been hosted by the West Ward. Big shout out to Do It All Kelly, Dupre Kelly, Councilman Dupre Kelly, platinum selling hip hop artist from the mighty Lords of the Underground. Want to give him a big shout out on his nuptials. He's actually getting married this weekend.
Really?
Wow. He's out in Jamaica right now, tying the knot. Want to salute him, say congratulations to him and his lovely bride. Of course, they brought a bundle of joy into the world last year. Legend. He is a legend for sure already. But hip hop is more than just rapping. It's not what we do, it's how we do it. I think that Do It All Kelly, Dupre Kelly, being West Ward councilman for the city of Newark, New Jersey, is a prime example of hip hop is not what we do, is how we do it, because he brings hip hop to his work as city councilman. And of course, the great mayor, Raz Baraka, son of Amiri Baraka Sr., my brother Amiri Baraka Jr., the chief of staff. We came up with this concept in 2010, 24 Hours of Peace. I'm really adding on to the work that the Newark Anti-Violence Coalition was doing in terms of fighting back against violence and crime in our neighborhood. Watching the Newark Anti-Violence Coalition go out there for 5.5 years straight, every Wednesday, rain, snow, sleet, hail. They was in the hood saying we got to do better as Black men, as Black women, as Black people, as law enforcement officers, calling them to task. We have to do better in servicing ourselves as a community. And how do we expand this? How do we coalesce and open it up? And the answer was bring hip hop on the block. Put up a stage, put up some speakers, put up some music, spoken word poets, rappers, singers, dancers. Let's express every aspect of the Newark, New Jersey culture, club music, Jersey club music, 24 hours straight, 6 p.m. to 6 p.m., Friday to Saturday, straight through. And we've been doing it every year since 2010. It's gotten bigger and bigger. We bring out 15, 20,000 people during the course of the weekend. We got vendors galore, all the fine foods you want to eat. We got fashions out there. We got everything from books and knowledge to artwork, paintings. The vendor, our vendor work is next level. Big shout out to all the vendors that participate with 24 Hours of Peace every year. And then we have, our real leadership in Newark, New Jersey. Not just the politicians, but we got the real workers. Brother Zaid comes through. Larry Hamm comes through. We got people who are in the Bashir Akinyele comes through. Big shout out to Sharif Amenhotep, the people who do the work year in, year out, day in, day out, 365 days a year, just creating a space, creating a platform to elevate that message. Now, when we talk about peace, people think peace is something submissive, and that's not how we approach peace. Peace is about having inner peace, so you can then navigate the external chaos that exists. That's what peace is about. Peace is about being at one with self. So when you do have to exact justice, you do it in a way where you can elevate yourself. You can navigate the chaos, as I just said. It's not about, submission. It's about how to properly, aggressively work a plan. So to your point, Jonathan, about the flip side of the coin, what 24 hours of peace is calling our people to a place where they can unify with each other and then execute a plan of action on the powers that be that run our lives. So that's what that's about.
Okay. So what's the date? What are the dates of
September 5th, September 6th? The lineup, yes, the lineup is crazy. It's a crazy lineup.
What is the lineup?
Yeah, I was gonna say, before you tell us the lineup, Haqq, what was the first one at? And every year, have you been able to reach the goal of 24 hours apiece?
Oh, absolutely. So the first one was held on Clinton Avenue in Tracy, right there in front of King's Restaurant. Actually, the first, I want to say, 5 24 hours of peace events were held there. And then we went to Broad Market in 2016. We went back to Clinton Avenue. We went to Clinton and Lyons. We made our way back to Broad Market, and then we went to Springfield Avenue right next to Shaq's Theater for 2 years, and we've been on Central Avenue for the past 2 years. And then we definitely, we've reached our goal, considering that Newark experiences record lows in violence and crime. We've seen annual lows lower than prior to 1967 riots, and 24 hours of peace being a part of an all-around initiative by the mayor to tackle violence and crime using social services, social service works. Big shout out to OVP. Big shout out to Brick City Peace Collective. These are the offices that were created by the mayor's administration to do the everyday work from the city side, and 24 hours of peace has become more or less a celebration, an accentuation of that work.
Now for the lineup. I'm sorry. The lineup.
Oh man, the lineup is crazy. Friday, 6 o'clock, we jump it off. We do opening ceremonies, we do libations. We started off right. We got some, we'll set the tone off with the hip hop and the music, and jump into these local artists. Big shout out to Hot 97, which this year hosted the Who's Next series for 24 hours apiece, where we chose 10 phenomenal artists to participate as local artists. Big shout out to Hot 97. They're organizing that for us. So we got the local artists coming through. Our main acts are G-Dep, Allure, Cool G Rap, Jacquees, Donnell Jones,
Cool G Rap. That's a throwback.
It's heavy. We got DJ Midi Mid, the Chief, on the helm on the turntables for House 12 to 4. Big shout out to DJ Qua. We got Saturday Health and Wellness with Nikki D. We got yoga with Ty Day. We got spoken word poetry by Queen Moore and friends. We're gonna do a step show. Big shout out to the Urban League. They're putting together a nice step show for us. We got a ticket giveaway. Big shout out to the HBCU Classic, that Howard game that happens at the Meadowlands. We're gonna be giving away free tickets and other giveaways. We always give away something. The mayor comes right and exact with the community, making sure you guys walk away with something. And then we're gonna head to the main acts, which are Scarlip, Lil Taj and Friends, Zeddy Will, and the Group 41. And our headliner on Saturday is Da Baby.
Can I make a suggestion?
Go ahead, let's go.
On the floor,
Did I hear Jadakiss?
Hold on a second, Donna.
I didn't say Jadakiss.
I think you heard Jadakiss.
You didn't say Jadakiss.
Yo, Jadakiss is Friday night. I didn't say Jadakiss. Jadakiss.
Oh wow! Why you
say
forget
Jadakiss.
Donna's favorite
Oh, we got
person?
Jadakiss on. We got Jadakiss on Friday night.
I'm sorry, Zay. He didn't say Jada. I'm sorry.
We got Jada. We locks. Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Jada's in the building on Friday night.
Yeah, I'm like Donna's gonna be first front row right there.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
No, the poetry flow, the spoken word flow, you gotta include our poet laureate Mia X with Queen Moore. And they all
Well,
get down together.
I think you know, Queen Moore, she takes care of that. She locks it down. And I think that's already in the works. So
I will make sure.
Oh, it has to be. There's no way you could have poetry.
That's one of his students too, by the way.
Right, without Mia X. Can't have. You know you can't have a poetry section in Newark, New Jersey, without Mia X.
Yeah,
you can't do that.
I think that's been discussed. I think that's been worked out. Like I said, Queen Moore handles that lane. I let people operate in their space.
Okay, I'm just saying, if Mia X not there, it's not poetry jam. We gotta have Mia X there. We love Mia X. Mia X is amazing. Poetry just flows out Mia X. You gotta have Mia X there. You know, she got Jada Kiss. I got Mia X. All right.
Well, I think that's been solidified, but you need to talk to Queen Moore because her lineup is the lineup we running with. I think that's been taken care of.
I hope so.
These
I hope so. You got to crash the party.
Talk to Queen Moore.
Yeah,
and she'll figure it out for you.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Ooh, y'all some hyperventilating middle-aged hip hop.
That's this year's lineup pretty much. We got some other special guests, some celebrities coming through. You know, it's gonna be right and exact. It's gonna be right and exact for sure.
So, what time does it start?
6 o'clock.
24 hours
6 p.m. to 6 p.m. Friday to Saturday. 6 p.m. on Friday to 6 p.m. on Saturday. Straight through.
Oh, so it's not you were doing like 36 hours at one point, right?
Nah, I didn't do that.
It was always 24
hours. We didn't do 36 hours. 24 hours. Like when I first stepped to Mitty with the idea, I'm thinking 6 hours, 8 hours at the most. Nah, we gotta do it for 24 hours, huh? Yeah. We gotta make a statement. We gotta do something that's legendary that nobody else has done. I'm like, that's 24 hours, God? Like, really? He said, all right, let's go 24 hours.
And the track record has been good.
15 years later,
we can count on one hand incidents of violence over all those years of 24 hours.
Well, I don't think there's ever been an incident of violence. There have been some arguments. One year, the kids thought it'd be funny to run and see if everybody would, follow. But I don't think we've really caught. We never caught like a brawl. There's never been a fight. Knock on wood. Knock on wood.
And the weekend that you do it, right? I remember 2 years ago, the weekend that you did 24 Hours of Peace. All over the country, there were spikes in violence because that was Labor Day weekend. And in Newark, decreased. Right?
There was none. There was not just 24 hours of peace, but Newark itself experienced no violence during the Labor Day weekend that year. And I think last year we kept it kind of safe as well, in terms of the citywide statistic,
which was amazing, right?
Yeah, well, Raz Baraka, the mayor. Right. We have Peace Week leading up to 24 Hours of Peace.
Right.
So there's
about Peace Week.
Well, activities focused on peace, conflict resolution, upward development for the community.
We did it last week.
Really all summer long, but definitely leading up to 24 Hours of Peace, the city does Peace Week. And just keeping peace, love, unity, safely, having fun at the top of everybody's thinking, I think does a great job in, just making sure we keep things nice, peace, calm, and we give people grace. We let we don't not so quick to snap at each other. That's what it takes. Like it's all propaganda, as we would say, the brainwashing mechanisms of marketing and promotions, being able to constantly hit you with a message. And we're fighting against the radio stations. We're fighting against the internet, where these messages, negativity is ringing off all the time. It takes a concerted effort to push back against it with peace, love, unity, safely having fun. I think the mayor does a phenomenal job with that. Newark has been leading the effort in terms of, urban areas, big cities. We're seeing a dip in crime, not just in Newark, but Baltimore, Chicago, all around the country. Cities with black mayors, for some reason.
Washington, D.C., that's being hated by the Trumpites.
Crime has been spiraling downward.
30-year low in D.C., And
Right.
this Cassius is trying to stop some mess because he's.
But
I would,
it is wild because the biggest crime wave.
But I have to say, I don't think that the mainstream media and social media has been honest about the lead in that charge, which for me starts in Newark, New Jersey.
Yes.
Ras Baraka.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because we've been seeing the decline in Newark's violence since he's been at the helm.
For that, he in New Jersey.
And,
right.
And many of the mayors are going to Newark, coming to Newark, and looking at the work of the Newark Anti-Violence Coalition and looking at the programs that we have, and they are modeling it. Just like we looked at some programs in Los Angeles and some programs in Chicago and put them all together to form what Keisha Yuri would call an ecosystem.
That's right. Big shout out to Deputy Mayor LaKeisha Yuri, my sister, again, doing that work. Grassroots, just not Newark Anti-Violence Coalition wasn't a state sanctioned, a city sanctioned. These are people from the grassroots coming together going, we need to do something. So whether we're a vendor, we're a teacher, we're, whoever we are coming from whatever space, we're coming to call attention to the need for, respect, love, peace, unity. And,
and I think, Jonathan, what you were going to say
is now doing her thing in City Hall, elevating that work because of Ras Baraka. So, I just want people not to lose sight of Raz's leadership, the work that you guys have been doing here at All Politics Are Local. Brother Zaid, you helped me, mentored me in organizing, and since the late 80s, early 90s, so wealth of knowledge, network of action right there in Newark, New Jersey. And I need the whole country to pay attention and, let's build, let's expand our work across the country.
Let's continue to build. That's right. That's the point I was trying to put it in the chat. Peace is something you build.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think Jonathan was going to say, and if you're looking at where crime is the top leading Alaska is one of the places, but of course they're not going to Alaska, right?
Oh, red states. Red states have the biggest have the crime waves, right? Red states have the biggest crime waves, and if you look at DC, there was no bigger crime wave than what happened on January 6th. like, come on, man! I haven't seen crime like that.
See all the white folks going up the Congress and everything.
I'm like, right. Talk about a crime wave. Yo, man, Donald Trump was a one-man crime wave all weekend long.
And now he out there talking about decreasing crime.
Right. One last thing to that point, just in terms of, Donald Trump being in office and, the idea that there's red and there's blue, right? Democrat, Republican, those are the two options we have to work with. About leverage, identifying where your power is and then leveraging it, not to be that thing, but to use that thing for your own cause, your own initiative, right? And to think that with Donald Trump in office and him being able to put his folks in office, it's setting us back. Like, we're going backward now. We have a lot of ground game to catch up on that we lost over the last year. Not even year, 6 months.
7 months.
We lost like 60 years of progress in 6-7 months.
No, it was more than it was actually more than that, because the only reason why he was able to do what he did is because so much had already been eroded.
Yeah,
right?
It's been creepy.
Because we're like frogs and slowly and water that goes up a couple of degrees at a time. We were boiling and didn't know it, right? Like, so the problem did not begin even remotely with Trump. Erosion has been going on at massive levels, because we didn't have a Voting Rights Act before Trump. We didn't have before Trump. We didn't have a Voting Rights Act.
So when I say 60 years of progress, it's not like 60 years and it's perfect. No, we still are a long way from equality, if you want to call it that. Like, even with the 60 years of progress, we as a community still a long way from our rightful due when you factor in reparations, when you factor in a whole lot of things. So it wasn't to say that. It's to say that even the small gains that we did make, there's been a huge dent in it in the last 6 months. To your point, though, that was enabled by years prior.
But
No
what I'm
doubt.
saying, but what I'm pushing back on a little bit, and because the 1965 Civil Rights Act had been gutted for years, it's almost impossible to sue for discrimination, right? Because the Supreme Court lowered the standard.
The Supreme
So
Court
that-
gutted it on Obama.
When
Right.
When that happened with the Supreme Court?
There were a series of decisions that lowered from affirmative action to the point where it is none, right? And also they increased the level in which you have to do in order to prove discrimination exists. That's been true. That's been going on for 20 years. Every Supreme Court cycle, it gets harder and harder to prove a civil rights case. The Voting Rights Act was gutted, I think, in 2016.
So let me ask you a question. Sorry, let's go back 20 years. How was that able to happen?
Oh, because
the right-wing Democratic Party with Bill Clinton,
and
to the right,
and the getting more and more justices throughout the country, not just on the Supreme Court, throughout the country that were right leaning. The Heritage Foundation.
So you said we're what? We're what?
We're
right leaning.
Okay,
right?
Now so I'm with you. You answer my question, but it's in terms of our lack of engagement.
All right, so I personally have to go. I know we're signing off right now because it's 9 o'clock. I actually have to leave where I am because I'm out of compliance because I'm actually in a public space. So I will be signing off, and until next week. Am I the only one? I'm only the one who can end this. So I'm gonna.
No, you're the only one can end this. So let's wind it down.
So
let me say several things real quick. Tomorrow, Source of Knowledge, 12 to 3. I Am Maroon on Russell Maroon Schultz, one of our most revered freedom fighters. And today is the anniversary of the death of Huey P. Newton. It's Black August. Wow. Don't let y'all forget that. Right.
And so as we close, you finish, Ike?
Yeah, we got to wrap it up. Yes.
I'm gonna let you have the last word, so you can remind us about 24 Hours of Peace. But I do want to send love to Felicia Rashad and Debbie Allen of the loss of their mom, Vivian Ayers, who passed away at 102 years old on yesterday. And just thinking about them and the art that she brought herself and through her children. Hakeem?
24 Hours of Peace, September 5th and 6th, Central Avenue, South 10th, and West Market. Got a huge lineup. The Baby, Jadakiss, Cool G Rap, Donnell Jones, Jacquees, many, many more. Come check us out.
And you'll be with us one more. We got one more week to talk about it. So hopefully you'll be with us next week as well to remind us about 24 Hours of Peace.
All right.
Okay. Zaid, take us out.
See you in the whirlwind and you don't stop.
Okay, until next Friday, we'll see you. Thank you.
Somebody's got to end it. We're going to leave the studio just to end it, okay? We got to leave together.
Rafisa, no, she has to take us off live.
She's not there. Mm-hmm. She's not there. Right? So we have to just leave the studio together. So just leave the studio. All right?
Okay.
Okay. We'll see y'all next week.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week. I'm packing up and getting out. Talk to you later.
You taking us offline?
Yep. You're offline.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
You're offline now and in the stream.